Stone, many thanks as we bring you inside Jones AT&T Stadium for Texas Tech and Kansas State. Alongside Spencer Tillman, Tim Brando, happy to have you with us as we look forward to a pivotal game. Both of these clubs would like to be bowl eligible, and for Bill Snyder, the veteran coach, they've got quite a chore. It'll go through the end zone. And give me, Spencer, the three things that we absolutely need to know when Texas Tech's got the football.
Timmy, it's really easy. Early, they've got to establish efficiency here on senior day. A lot of emotions flying around. They've got to put that behind them quickly. And then, of course, coordinators are notorious for not emptying their bucket. Kansas State can control the clock and thus keep this high-powered offense a little bit marginalized. So they've got to empty the bucket. If you got good calls in your pocket, do it. And then, of course, you got to help them out with the wide receivers. They dropped 5 last week. You got to catch all of them.
This is a far better football team when they play at home than on the road. Mahomes right away goes to Grant. As advertised, a great cut and a first down out to the 40-yard line as you look at the super sophomore from White House, Texas, Patrick Mahomes.
He's a heart and soul of what they do. The 36 touchdowns responsible for nearly 70+% of this offense runs through Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes with plenty of time. Sitting on that one is Reginald Davis, the junior from Tenaha. Caleb Pruitt, number 4, made the tackle.
Tim, that's a good sign for Texas Tech, mainly because they caught the first pass, and that was problematic for them last week.
All right, we welcome those of you that saw TCU hang on with an injured Trevon Boykin to win 23-17. Here, DeAndre Washington carries. Already 1 first down picked up for Texas Tech in their opening series. Alongside Spencer Tillman, Tim Brando, happy to have you with us on Senior Day at Jones AT&T Stadium. We've got a marker down. Preliminary indication against them.
Offside. Defense, number 45. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Yardage results in the first down.
Markel Bryant, an uncharacteristic penalty for Bill Snyder coach ball club. Again, at that right rush in position, he was a little bit anxious, and they caught him on that particular play, Timmy. But for Texas Tech, this is a great opportunity. Balance early, a completion on the first throw, and then, of course, DeAndre Washington coming up, showing that he's able to establish balance with the run game.
He now is joined by Justin Stockton in the backfield on 1st and 10. Quick swing pattern out to Stockton. And he has another first down into Wildcat territory inside the 40 at the 38-yard line.
Caleb Pruitt there on the stop, number 4. And again, pushing the ball upfield. This is indicative of what we've come used to seeing with this Texas Tech offense. Points on possessions, they're threatening early, Tim.
And for those of you that just joined us on FS1, they want to get as many big-time plays in as early and as often as possible. Spencer, as you mentioned, because Kansas State loves to exercise ball control. Here's Washington again, and it's wide open for him. That's an 8-yard gain as they get it to the 30. Duke Shelley made the stop. This is a big part of their offense, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all about blocking downfield. We know about them catching the ball. Stockton does an excellent job of that, but they are also called on to block downfield. Grant will be one of them, will be leading the way.
Washington again, this time tries the right side. Inside the 30 to the 28. Tanner Wood, 34, making the stop. But another first down.
Yeah, Sean Newland in on that as well, and that's one of the characteristics of this Kansas State Wildcat team. They like to gang tackle. They know where their strengths are.
Mahomes moving quickly and using his legs this time. Well, he's special. He laid a little lumber there, didn't he, at the 22-yard line? Yeah. Went right into Morgan Burns, the senior from Wichita, Kansas, the outstanding cover corner for K-State.
Doing a Joe Huebner impersonation. His counterpart today, we know he can run the football, but Mahomes lowering the shoulder, putting it in, leverage early.
2nd and 4 with Washington the lone setback. That's Brad Pearson in motion, 83. Good cutback by Washington. Looks like he has another first down.
Yeah, but decent job by Morgan Burns. Again, coming off that boundary corner position, he funneled that ball back up inside. It could have been gashed, but for the fact that he maintained his integrity in containment.
So the ball spotted at the 17-yard line. First down. Play fake. And on the shallow cross, Grant with one of those drops you mentioned. Pass may have been thrown a little behind him, but one he would have normally brought in.
Yeah, Mahomes, he did a nice job of kind of settling. He did throw the ball off that 1 foot, but again, the ball was a little bit behind him. But Grant has got to catch that. He is one of the most respected personalities on this offensive unit. In fact, Coach Klingsbury said that he is, in this whole team, both defense and offensive side, has his ultimate respect.
2nd and 10. Mahomes checks down and finds Stockton. Justin Stockton, touchdown!
Timmy, it's going to be a mismatch all day. Will Davis Jr., some of those guys back there in the linebacker position being asked to cover some of these smallish, very elite, skilled receivers. 4 plays.
No, Mahomes was outstanding in the air in that particular sequence. 4 of 5 in the air for him for 49 yards, and Hatfield is in for the extra point. He did check down, though, didn't he?
He did.
Beautifully done. Didn't take long for the Red Raiders to get on the scoreboard. Less than 3 minutes. Actually, that's a long drive for them. Stockton on the receiving end of a 17-yard touchdown catch. Mahomes 4 of 5 in the drive for 49 of those 75 yards.
I think the encouraging thing is they did it their way, passing the ball primarily, then augmented with the run game.
This is Burns on the return. Morgan Burns. They do an outstanding job on kickoff returns. This has happened before. It's a touchdown. 93 yards.
Talk about all 3 phases of the game being engaged. And one of the key of any special teams return unit is the ability to block downfield. Look at how many white jerseys are on red jerseys. Not allowing those red guys to get off. A nice downfield block there thrown. Physical play. Burns putting the Jets on the back end. Execution outstanding in special teams play.
That was Dominic Heath, number 4, that made the big block, Spencer, that you noticed as Burns set sail down the sidelines. And another one was also thrown for the Wildcats. Huge impact from the fullback Winston Diddle. Kentelly with the extra point.
Tim, he's one of the fastest players on this team. And again, it's kind of a theme you'll see nowadays. Some of the best athletes, even though they're starters on the defense or offense, they're going to be showing up on special teams for that very reason. When you're in games where points are going to matter, and we certainly know that's the climate, you've got to be able to match them.
Do you think Jakeem Grant would like to return the favor here on senior day?
You're talking about a personality. Throughout the course of the day, we'll be able to highlight him.
Well,
everybody fears number 11. He may be small in stature, but he's big in personality and impact.
On October the 31st against Oklahoma State, he took his 4th one back. This is an Iowa State team, by the way, very similar to Texas Tech in that they're much better at home than they are on the road. That's a trap game. It really is.
It is a trap game. It's one of those deals, Timmy. You've got to find a way to win on the road as well as you do at home, though.
That's Lauderdale on the jet sweep. Cutting back inside at the hash mark, gets it out to the 32-yard line. Pickup of 7. 2nd down and 3 coming up. Caleb Pruitt made the tackle, number 4, the sophomore from Blue Springs, Missouri. Mahomes swings it out to Washington. Nice little stutter step, gets it out beyond the 40-yard line. We mentioned the difference in Kingsbury's team at home versus, look at that, they double their output when in this building, Spencer.
Well, it is outstanding, but again, championship teams that contend for big games are able to play as effectively when they're on the road. And again, it's just one of those little quirks. Everybody likes the home cooking when you got your home crowd behind you, but how can you do it on the road in a tough environment?
Washington met at the point of attack this time, coming up quickly. Shermichael Moore, number 52. Skyline High in Dallas, Texas. Big time pop from the junior there.
Yeah, Jordan Willis was in on that tackle too, number 75, and he came crashing down, putting some leather.
Gain of only one, so second and long. First time they really had that. Now there's Grant, a quick slant, and he is some quick to go with the slant. Jakeem inside the 5.
Elijah Lee was defending there, number 9, and he came right between them again, caught him in a zone coverage, and Grant just split that zone, and boy, he put him in the hip pocket and sprinted away from him. That's big time play right there now.
53 yards on that connection. A senior from Mesquite, Texas. Well, he'll leave here in the best spot that you could possibly have from a career standpoint. Wow. Oh, what a beautiful fake. Washington to the pylon. Touchdown.
Timmy, when we came on air, we talked about the points of the game for Texas Tech is to empty the bucket. All of those trick plays, because Kansas State is able to possess the ball and take some of those possessions away from you, you've got to put your best out there early. Nice play call.
Yeah, beautiful concept from offensive coordinator Eric Morris and, of course, Cliff Kingsbury. As young as Cliff is, and he's a young head football coach, when you meet with Eric, it kind of takes you back to Lincoln Riley. You know, these guys are 31, 32 years of age, and they're dialing up play after play in this air raid offense.
I think the thing that's encouraging about Eric is he understands his personnel and how to push the right buttons, Tim.
That's a thing of beauty. Almost too easy, especially against a K-State team that thrives on discipline. They still haven't had a touch on offense. Trailed by 7. 14-7 our score. Here's that check down to the slant to Grant. That was a thing of beauty, Spencer.
Timmy, there are natural holes right here and in a 4-man front, and that's exactly what Mahomes is looking at. He's going to exploit the middle of the field, a natural window right down the middle, and the protection is excellent. And Grant just splits those 2 defenders, puts him in his hip pocket, makes a nice move to the boundary, a second move again. Another guy in the trail technique finally brings him down, but not after a significant gain.
2 receptions, 67 yards for Grant. And here's Morgan Burns again from his 5. He's still in bounds. Beyond the 30 to the 34-yard line. A 30-yard return, and the 3 things that we need to know, Spencer, when K-State's got the ball, and they finally have it.
Well, it's not rocket science. First of all, you got to play like jazz. Every one of these plays starts off with structure and order, but you're going to be called upon to improvise and make a play. End up, hopefully, with the score. And then, of course, you got to close the deal. They've been so close. The 2-point loss to Oklahoma State, that one comes to mind. They've had several other ones, and then they've got to be more reliable. When they do decide to pass the football, they've got to be able to complete it.
This is a dream come true for Huebner to be the starting quarterback at Kansas State. Truly the 4th option when the season began. And Cody Cook, who we touched on in the 3 things that you need to know, will line up just about anywhere, number 19, including at quarterback on occasion. Gronkowski is the fullback, and he leads the way as Huebner on the side run takes it up to the 38-yard line. His best effort of the season came against TCU. He ran for 111 yards, 4 touchdowns in that game. And you see he's 4th best among FBS quarterbacks in rushing touchdowns.
Timmy, I think his best asset is his command of this zone read attack. He will stretch the 5 technique, that is the defensive end on the line of scrimmage with a little shuffle move, putting the ball in the belly of the back. It has a tremendous impact on his run game.
Charles Jones, the junior from Mandeville, Louisiana, is the setback on 2nd and 6. Over the middle, caught. That's Kyle Klein, senior from Colorado, making the reception right in front of Tevin Madison, number 20 of Texas Tech.
Madison was defending, but again, I think the focus here is Huebner. When we said that when they do pass, they've got to complete it, that was perfect form, a nice slant route inside. Way to go up and grab that ball and pull it down out of the air. Now, all of a sudden, early in this one, Kansas State has balance.
16 yards on that reception.
It's the 4-man rush here. They're getting a look from the sideline. They probably want to run into this look.
Flushed from the pocket, angling for the sidelines. Hammered out by Micah Awe, number 18, the senior from Arlington Summit High School in Arlington, Texas.
Timmy, about 80% of the time when you see Texas Tech in a 4-man front, they're going to drop too many people in coverage for him to be able to discern where those open defenders receivers are. They won't be, because the coverage is a blend of man under concepts, and it's very difficult to discern on the run. So he's got to be more judicious when he decides to go to the air against this group.
2nd and 8. Cook is in the slot to the bottom of your screen. Deontay Burton is flanked wide. Pass is batted into the air. Very dangerous. A lot of Red Raiders around it. Incomplete, intended for Kyle Klein again. And defensive coordinator David Gibbs is doing everything in his power to take away the run. He came over from the University of Houston, left a great defense that's undefeated in playing Memphis later tonight to help turn things around from an image standpoint here in Lubbock.
Well, I really like his personality. He knows exactly how to put his finger on the pulse of these millennials and get them jacked up and do the things they need to do from week to week.
Incomplete. Burton should have reeled it in. Was thrown a little behind it, but certainly catchable. The junior from Manhattan, Kansas, let that one slip away.
Yeah, Burton's concentration just wasn't there, and Huebner's going to talk to him a little bit about it. And I think that was as much a function of coverage, too. Look how many red jerseys are in that vicinity. You've got double coverage here. Nevertheless, that ball should have been caught by Burton.
Cameron Batson is back deep. Nick Walsh will boot it away.
Nice.
44-yard boot for Walsh, the sophomore from Linden, Kansas. Now the sun has peeked out on what had been an overcast early afternoon. Here at Texas Tech, serving up a heap and helping them. Big 12 football on a FS1. Tim Brando along with Spencer Tillman as you look at Cliff Kingsbury and his staff.
Those prolific numbers you're talking about are staples of what they do offensively, Timmy, but also points per possession. I mean, if you're defensively looking at this group and trying to stop them, if you can stop them twice, that's a win. If they score about 1.5 times, that's a victory for them.
Yeah, good to see the masked rider and fearless champion. They've gotten an exercise early with these big-time explosive plays. That pass was incomplete for DeAndre Washington. That is some quick strike approach. I mean, if they go over 2 minutes, that's a long, methodical drive, really, for Texas Tech. And here's another explosive play. DeAndre! He takes it in! Touchdown! 80 yards!
Tim, we knew he was on the doorstep of 1,000 yards for the 2nd consecutive season. Sean Newland missed that play, number 9, and that's what opened the door for that big-time run, number 29, and then he took advantage of it. Did Washington. Boy, he's a special asset to this offense.
I thought he was gassed at about the 10-yard line. And then there were missed tackle. He's already got 101 yards after that run of 80. 6 carries, 101 yards, and it's been one explosion after another here for the Red Raiders.
It has, and DeAndre Washington has provided his fair share of the fireworks. He came in averaging 6.2 yards per tote and had 9 touchdowns, and he's adding to that number in a hurry in this early.
Beware, Burns is back there, and he takes it from his 2. Under at the 16 this time. Rich Rod's team is at 5-5 with Arizona State coming up next. They're in a similar position to Texas Tech, trying to become bowl eligible. Look at that in total yards. Amazing. Only 1 touch, though. 1 series only for Kansas State because of the kick return for a touchdown. Jones with a nice spin move of his own. A quick burst beyond the 20.
Timmy, what Texas Tech has got to do a better job on the defensive side of things is making tackles in space. That's been something that's plagued them, particularly on the back end. And again, off to a slow start is Kansas State, but eventually they're going to settle in, and they've got to, the Texas Red Raiders, be able to have an answer for that ground game when they get established.
If they can keep it around 2nd and 5, that's important. They don't need 2nd and long situations in this offense for Joe Huebner. Flushed from the pocket again. That pass is incomplete. Klein got it, but he was out of bounds.
I think Texas Tech is doing an excellent job just rushing for, getting pressure on the quarterback and playing excellent man coverage. The problem is, besides Cody Cook, Kansas State doesn't have another legitimate deep threat that will command more than one back-end defender. That's the problem for Kansas State.
3rd down and 5. This is really Cody Cook country, number 19. He's in the slot to the bottom of your screen. He's looking for it. There he is. 1st down.
Joe Huebner's pass complete to number 19.
Joe Huebner with excellent touch on that play, and Cody Cook, the backup quarterback, starting receiver.
Ooh, he's a little
he is a little gimpy there.
Yeah,
they can't afford to lose him, Timmy. You know, Bill Snyder told us as we look at the form, which is excellent form, on the little fade route, Cook down. Madison defending there in his hip pocket, but just excellent throw and catch, but he's a little bit gimpy now.
Yeah, it looked like a hamstring to you, possibly?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Charles Jones is in the backfield. Klein, the favorite target so far, is at the bottom of your screen. Quick curl that's caught. And that ball is loose. Looks to be Texas Tech's Deshaun Johnson on top of it. I think he may have had one step after the catch before the hit and the turnover.
A fumble recovered by the defense.
They'll take a look at it, but Deshaun Johnson, 5'10", 174-pound freshman, he is the guy that's Johnny on the spot here. You see the little triangle that's created there? That is straight zone coverage, but he's got an eye on that football, and he goes and scoops it up. That's what this secondary was looking for, more turnovers on defense to mitigate some of the poor tackling that's defined their last few games.
All right, the question may be, was the knee down before the ball was dislodged by J.J. Gaines, number 3? Watch. Yeah, it was. I think that's a good call and should stand. What do you think?
I think as he was even turning, he was losing control of the ball well before the knee got down, and I think that is a good call, and it will stand.
Our replay official is Jack McDonald, and he is discussing matters with Mike DeFee, the referee.
It's unfortunate, too, because it looked like Joe Huebner found an opportunity against even a 5-man, because they brought a 5th man on that last play, and he took advantage of the zone coverage and completed the pass.
That's Zach
just
Router.
couldn't hold on to it.
Router appeared to have the ball. You're right. Before he was hit by Gaines, the ball was loose.
Yeah, you could see it as he turned around. And again, I didn't have the perspective of the field judge on the opposite side, Kansas State side, but you could surely see the top of the ball.
I'm wondering if the question is that he had lost possession of the ball before he was hit.
Or did he even have control of it?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that may be the discussion here. And if that's the case, then it'll be ruled an incomplete forward pass.
That's right.
And Kansas State would retain possession. This is a huge tipping point, even though it's very early in this game. As productive as the Red Raiders have been on offense, they need to control the football here.
That's the best way to describe it, Tim. This is a tipping point. Again, 21-7, you're down. Now you have an opportunity to slow the game down a little bit more. You're in their territory, pushing the ball down the field. Looks like it's going to stand, but you know what? Ultimately, it could be ruled either way, Tim.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. 1st down.
It just was not indisputable enough. And the turnover story for this Red Raiders team, you see this year it has improved. That's the one item that David Gibbs, the defensive coordinator, can be pleased with. They have been a more opportunistic defense, even though their tackling has been shoddy at times.
Yeah, there's a 9-turnover differential there, and you certainly know if you get those turnovers, this offense can score on them. They just haven't created them.
From their 37, here's Mahomes. And he slides down safely at the 41-yard line.
So now if you're Kansas State, you've got to rebound from that, okay? You understand exactly what you're up against, but you got to hold defensively so you can give your offense a chance to come back and control the clock.
DeAndre Washington now is joined by Justin Stockton in the backfield.
Showing a pressure look is Kansas State. Bringing pressure.
There it is again. Crossing pattern to Lauderdale. Boy, I'm telling you, these guys, when they plant their foot and make another move, They're leaving the Wildcats tackling air.
Devin Lauderdale, man, he's a big receiver, relatively speaking, 6 foot, 181 by their standards. Tim, it's really when you try to bring pressure against them, they're going to burn you. Kansas State just can't cover man tight enough to affect it.
35 yards on that play. First down.
Kansas State backing off, showing more of a zone look now.
Out to DeAndre Washington again. Well, he's feeling it. Inside the 10, it'll be first and goal. Stop made by Newland, who's been a busy Wildcat, and that's never good news when your three safeties making most of the stops.
Yep, Caleb Pruitt there, number 4, lets him slip right through his grasp, and again, extra yards after that. I almost wanted to say yards after contact, but I'm not sure he laid a hand on it.
Mark it at the 7. First and goal. Look at that. He is averaging a little under 17 per tote. Option.
Old school.
Yep. To Stockton. Touchdown. Some of our conversation yesterday with Cliff Kingsbury and with Eric Morris was about limited possessions, and they were acutely aware of that. And yeah, I believe the kitchen sink has been thrown here in the first quarter.
They went old school Oklahoma-style option. I can close my eyes and imagine Jamel Holloway tossing it to Patrick Collins. That's old school now.
Or maybe Spencer T from
Back
time to time.
We had a few of them.
Hatfield with the extra point. There's Stockton. They call him Flash because of the speed. Well, he flashed right by K-State again. Jones, AT&T Stadium, and the going band from Raiderland is jumping for joy. What has been a remarkable start for them in a game that means bowl eligibility with a young team like this one. Those extra 15, 16 days of practice mean the world. Morgan Burns is back deep. He has the only score of the day for K-State. That 93-yard return brings this one towards the boundary. It is banged out at the 24-yard line. Well, Spencer, you and I are a part of the 13-member panel at the Fox 4, and Clemson appears to be where it should be. The disagreement comes at number 4. Baylor not getting the love. They've got a chance, I think, tonight to right that ship if they perform admirably. What do you think?
I think a strong argument can be made that Alabama's probably playing the best football in the country after what they did to LSU last week. But again, I give, in terms of complete teams, Clemson the nod there, because Brent Venables, their defensive coordinator, has given them an extra element that puts them in championship caliber level. And we certainly know that defense wins championships, no matter what era we're in, spread or otherwise.
I think the nightmare for the Big 12 may be if Notre Dame wins out, then beats Stanford. Can they, without a Big 12 championship game, pierce the Final Four? Here's Jones. Out the 30 to the 31-yard line. Jashawn Johnson. We've got a marker down as Johnson made that hit. Number 7.
Personal foul, hands to the face. Defense number 41. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Big mistake by Malik Jenkins there. Well, among the teams, now remember, we've got a whole month left to play football. Look at the teams that made the biggest, the most significant moves up, and it was Oklahoma State. And remember, they've got all the toughies coming to them in Stillwater.
And they've got context, too. Remember, they got a win against Oklahoma last year, and the way Mike Gundy is coaching his ball club, the pass does matter. He's got his finger on the pulse of how to work them, too.
They are trailing in that trap game at Ames, 17-7 right now. Jenny Taft will no doubt keep us posted on the proceedings there as the afternoon goes on. Huebner. Good penetration that time by Texas Tech. J.J. Gaines coming through, number 3, from that cornerback spot, the senior from Irving, Texas.
Yeah, Gaines not giving up that edge. You talk about guys setting the corner. Usually we're talking about big defensive ends or scraping linebackers. But when a corner can come up like Gaines did there and set the edge and force a big quarterback like Huebner back in the middle, that's pretty good football.
This is a very important drive, given the way Texas Tech and its tempo has really taken command of this game. It's early, but this is an important drive. Gronkowski, the fullback, in the backfield in front of Hubner, and we've got a whistle. We get a quick timeout. I think we did by Kansas State. Bill Snyder has seen too much of this the last 5 weeks. College football on FS1 is presented by K Jewelers. After the timeout, Charles Jones in the backfield, 2nd down, 13. Again, outstanding penetration from Texas Tech. You know, David Gibbs says we're going to stop the run. We're going to design and put the men in the box necessary, and he got the kind of penetration he wanted there.
He really did. There was as many as 3 defensive backs that were up and around the line of scrimmage. Talk about game tackling right there, personified on that last play.
3rd and 14 now. This is not what K-State wants. Look at that time of possession. You can't possess it if you're turning it over.
Just a 3-man front, though. Texas Tech resigned just to sit back and play zone and play coverage.
Hubner checks down to Cook, and he's leveled as soon as he makes the catch by Awe, number 18.
Awe played his technique perfectly. Again, the pressure was not on Hubner because there were only 3 guys rushing, but Awe did a nice assignment, just stayed settled down and made a great football tackle.
Nick Walsh will have to boot it away, and that is a perplexed Joe Hubner. Really felt like that they were making progress in that loss a week ago. They did play very well, albeit in defeat against Baylor. This is a high boot, plenty of hang time. Fair catch called for. K-State trying to get the stop. And how about the French pastry on the end-over-end punt? And Mack downs it at the 2. That's a 52-yard boot.
Ryan Mack displaying some excellent special teams play. Had the sun to deal with there, but more importantly, for K-State, they've got their eyes at ball in the gun side. Mack does a nice job of settling and keeping it out in the field of play.
Spencer, 28 points in the first quarter.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that's a beautiful reaction for Walsh. Very satisfied with that. If they can make this about field position, it plays into K-State's favor, but they need to stop here. The 28 points in this quarter equals the most ever points by Texas Tech in their school history.
That was one of our points to start the game, right? Get off to a fast start, and they've certainly done that.
I always remember one of your 3 things to know. DeAndre Washington burst free, and just like that, plenty of room to work with.
They so effectively spread you out with a 3-by-1 formation, 3 receivers to the field, and you got to cover them, and that reduces your numbers in between the tackles, and Washington is finding gaps all in that K-State Wildcat defense.
He's up to 113 yards now. Mahomes with plenty of time. And goes to the safety valve, which is DeAndre Washington. Their drives so far today, in the first quarter, and we've still got a minute and change remaining. There are 4 drives. The long one early, 2:52 off the clock. Then 1:41, 19 seconds on drive number 3, and a minute and a half. 1:32 to be exact on drive number 4.
Give them all the credit in the world. They are moving and executing their offense, but also I'm looking at some poor tackling uncharacteristically by Kansas State.
That's Justin Stockton again, who's been used effectively along with Washington. Caleb Pruitt makes the stop, but not before another first down was picked up.
Yeah, Caleb was in position, but again, a little bit too late. The first down already attained, and one of the last play, Will Davis on that last play coming to the field to our side had an opportunity to make that a negative play, but just missed another tackle, and that, again, rare for Kansas State. Pressure.
Yeah, and Mahomes is in trouble this time. He will be wrestled down by Elijah Lee. Super sophomore, had a couple of interceptions against TCU. This young man is getting a lot of on-the-job training since coming in.
He's a special talent, Tim. He's 6'3", 218 pounds. And again, if you're trying to get around him, he's got long levers, long arms, and that length is very difficult for any quarterback to throw the ball over.
First negative play, really, for Texas Tech all day. They lost 14. Mahomes, his shovel pass to Elijah Lee. Nice ad-lib job there as Cameron Batson reels it in, number 13, and they got something really out of nothing. That was Favre-esque.
Well, Donnie Starks was there, the junior. He missed an opportunity again. That's the last two plays. The last three plays have been two missed tackles.
Did that remind you of Brett Favre just a little?
It really did. It was creative, wasn't it?
He picked up 10 on a play that looked like it was going nowhere.
A little Utah pass way out on the boundaries.
Oh, you're going Lee Gross Cup on me now. 3rd and 14. Mahomes this time runs out of the opportunity as Tanner Wood makes the sack back at the 10-yard line. So a rare punt formation when we come back. The fearless champion and masked rider have seen their home team play very well in the opening quarter. We open the second quarter with the Red Raiders on Senior Day, leading 28-7. They've been nothing short of magnificent. And Spencer, that was a must-stop, really, for Kansas State in that last sequence to get this punt formation.
It was a must-stop, but they've got to address a bigger issue to me. Kansas State did a decent job of trying to create a complementary offense and defensive approach, but outside of Burns' big return and then Cook's big catch, there's not been enough explosiveness from them. And we know that they're a run-based team, but if you're going to be down and then turn the ball over, you've got to be able to counter some way with offense.
And a beautiful punt by Michael Barden. He's forced in because of the injury to Taylor Semank, the senior, who's got a hamstring pull. That was a beautiful punt that did not give Kansas State the kind of field position I'm sure they were hoping for to begin this drive, as it'll be inside the 30 all the way back to the 26-yard line. That was a 62-yard boot by Barden.
Now, Tim, if you're looking at this huge lead that Texas Tech has right now, I'm looking at these young, impressionable kids to find out how well they'll run with a full cup of success offensively and defensively. Will they respond in a way that's consistent with what this Coach Kingsbury wants for his team?
Well, one thing you know about Kansas State, they're going to continue doing what they do to the best of their ability. They'll remain consistent. That's Charles Jones ahead to the 30-yard line. They're not going to shelve their game plan coming in just because of a poor first quarter. Keenan Ward made the tackle after a pickup of 4, 2nd and 6.
Keenan's 5'9", 204-pound junior, and he really showed you some tenacity, what we're talking about. A lot of times when teams that are young get an early lead, and a big lead at that, they kind of dial it down just a little bit. But again, a combination of an aggressive game plan and call and a proper response puts them in a position to grow as a team.
Well, Senior Day is such an emotional day. A lot of times it goes the other way. But this K-State team is running to a juggernaut today, as Jones gets out ahead for a first down, pickup of 6, and Ward made the stop again, number 15, against the junior from Mandeville, Louisiana. 7-yard gain for Jones.
Yeah, Demetrius Alston in that melee as well, helping out defensively. So, again, you're going to see, I think, a more aggressive response by Texas Tech. I think they were read the riot act a little bit last week. Some starters were sat down and younger players implemented instead of them, and they responded nicely in practice this week.
1st and 10 from the 37 of K-State. Bugner.
It's a 3-man rush.
On the curl, it's Kyle Klein again to the 42. Nigel Bethel the second, number 1, making the stop.
Nigel with a nice job of playing man coverage in that. Bringing some extra bodies means that you're going to be on an island out there at corner, whether it's the field, the wide side, or the short side. It's tough covering anybody in space these days.
Trips formation to the bottom of your screen on 2nd and 5. On the zone read, looking long for Deontay Burton. The ball hung up just a bit and enabled Justice Nelson to get down there and knock it away.
Talking about making a big play, Justice Nelson waits and comes underneath and times that perfectly and bats that ball away and denies the completion. That's outstanding man coverage in open space. There is no one behind him to help.
You get that ball out late, Spencer. You think?
You know, I don't think he got it out late. I think the fact that there was not an imminent threat in terms of pressure in front of him, he probably felt like he had more time.
3rd and 5. Safety valve, Charles Jones. It won't be enough. In fact, it'll lose a yard maybe. That's great recognition by Bethel again.
Yeah, Nigel Bethel, Johnny on the spot again. What we're seeing here is a reoccurring theme in this game anyway of consistent tackling as opposed to what was been in play the last couple of weeks. Bethel sure-handed, pulling them down with certainty there to deny extra yards. Outstanding defensive play.
Nick Walsh will have to boot it away again. 4th down and 6. Batson back deep. High, beautiful punt. And a fair catch called for at the 17-yard line. You got to wrap them up. At some point, you got to make some plays. And that's what Bethel did there.
David Gibbs, he's smiling.
I'll say. Senior day. There's Micah Alway, one of 23 today. And, of course, a huge opportunity for a very young coach that understands what senior day is all about. Let's splash back to 2002 here in Lubbock. Quarterback by the name of Cliff Kingsbury. A monster game against the Horns, throwing for 473 and 6 touchdowns. And the Red Raiders upset of the then undefeated Texas Longhorns 42-38. You know, not being that far removed from what these kids are going through now, I think gives Kingsbury a unique look at the game, both from an insular standpoint here at Texas Tech and then from a global standpoint as well.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And by the way, 2002, he won the Sammy Barr Trophy that year. And, and that kind of pedigree, those awards and accolades really relates to these kids. They like the bling. They like the awards.
Lauderdale needed about another step and a half to catch up to that one as Mahomes decided to go with a streak route down the sidelines.
And Tim, let's be truthful about this era that we're in. You know, the flash and the bling, it matters. I mean, we're right smack in the middle of a facilities wars, if you will, with programs around the country. And so that youth and awards, of course, later go on to coach Johnny Manziel at A&M, that matters.
Well, that coaching tree that he's part of is magnificent. Oh, it's taken this league over by storm. DeAndre Washington burrows ahead to the 22-yard line. Will Gary, number 60, very active up front. One of the guys that Coach Eric Morris pointed out to us was a big-time run stopper inside. 48 tackles coming into today's game, the sophomore from Topeka. 3rd and 6.
With the big league now, they're slowing it down a little bit. Texas Tech trying to take some time off the clock themselves.
Mahomes, this is where he can really be devastating when he starts ad-libbing. How about that? Jakeem Grant, first down. And the senior knows how to come back to his quarterback, too. He has great faith that a veteran will come back to him.
That's what Jazz is all about. You start off with a certain rift and a definitive plan, but what happens in between, as Mahomes showed on that play.
They're going to say it was.
They're going to bring it back.
They're going to say it was incomplete.
I thought he
had brought it in. I really did.
Well, that's Jazz too. It's unpredictable. It'll end for.
Boy, I thought he had it. Michael Barden will punt it away. Dominic Heath, who changes jerseys from time to time, is wearing number 4 this time. Wow. That was a huge boot, wasn't it? May have outkicked his coverage. And he gets it up to the 28-yard line. 60-yard boot, a 13-yard return. We've been so accustomed to seeing the ball caught. Even when it's not, we think it is. We'll be right back. 28-7 our score. Spencer, let's get your Heisman watch for this week. I thought it took a little shape last week.
It really did, and I think the guy who was responsible for that was Derrick Henry and his dominant performance over LSU, which opened the door for Christian McCaffrey, Corey Coleman, who now has instead of an adequate replacement at quarterback for the Baylor Bears. And so I think if I were to say, I'm not willing to dismiss Leonard Fournette's impact this year. I mean, just because he had that one game, look, LSU is a one-dimensional team, right? I can load 8-9 men in the box and stop even the greatest running back out there, and that's exactly what happened to LSU against Alabama last week.
A lot for his candidacy will be determined tonight when they play Arkansas at home. Here now. Dumped at the 30-yard line by Malik Jenkins.
Talking about playing assignment and then run fits. You know, you'll hear us talk about that. That means every guy's responsible for a gap. Malik filling with intensity and purpose there. But it's football now.
Speaking of Arkansas, you know, they approached this game, Texas Tech, as though they were playing the Razorbacks, whom they beat earlier this year, you may recall. And in fact have won. But that game was one of the really tilting points positively for Texas Tech. Shortly thereafter, the game that they had against TCU got away on a tip drill in the end zone on 4th down. 2nd and 10. Hudner brings it down and decides to take it. And he's ahead to the 35. Let's get back to Jenny Taft for another game break in Los Angeles. Jenny.
Thanks, Tim. A record-breaking day in Annapolis. Navy quarterback Keenan Reynolds with 3 rushing touchdowns today. This one, his second 43-yard score. Reynolds has now passed Monty Ball for most career rushing touchdowns in FBS with 80. Navy up 28-0 in the second quarter. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Jenny. I think Ken Niumatalolo, the coach of Navy, will probably one day say, I don't have him anymore to play quarterback. Keenan Reynolds, it seems like he's been there for 8 years.
We'll see if he winds up helping them in the end, the way things are playing out, making special provision for Navy if they continue to roll.
That pass is caught by Deontay Burton. He stays upright as Texas Tech tries to strip him. Justice Nelson ushering him out, but a first down picked up for Kansas State.
You can see again press coverage on the outside. Again, an inside release. That's an NFL caliber route right there. Timmy, I know you don't like the big boys, but I'm telling you, that's what they're looking at. The big boys are looking at that.
I'm okay with the big boys.
That was a speed inverted move on an outcut. That's nice, man.
I'm okay with the big boys. I just don't think we need to evaluate their futures in the NFL all day long while playing at the collegiate level. 1st and 10 with the ball at the 42.
Look at this little slot look right here. He's dialing back out of it, but believe me, he had a notion.
Burton again was the intended receiver.
Yeah, so Justice Nelson was the guy, 31, that was kind of giving him what we call a sugar look. He gave him a look that he's going to come and he's not going to come. He's backing out. He's trying to create indecision in the mind of the quarterback. And again, the way Kansas State runs their offense, it can be problematic.
2nd and 10. See the numbers on Hudner. Turnovers have really hurt Kansas State. Woo! Looking long. He needs some help. And he got some from Klein. That's a 50-50 ball that Klein brought down inside the 30. Nigel Bethel was back there with him. That's a huge gain of 29.
And it happened because of protection. If you look, again, there was a big hit there, and Hubner was still upright because of the fullback taking on a big block there to allow that pass to be completed.
This is a tough kid. We had a chance to visit with Joe Hubner coming into this game, and he really does have, I think, a keen understanding of what's in front of him and how much it means. He's taken a very long and difficult route to play at Kansas State and in the Big 12. Little stretch play for Jones, and he cuts it back inside to the 25-yard line. Stopped by J.J. Gaines.
That was one of those read options, an inside option type run where he's going the opposite direction of where the back is going to go. And at some point in time, he'll pull that down and keep it because he's reading that, what we call a 5 technique, that in man on the line of scrimmage, the big guy with his hand down. And they've got another variation of that theme where they'll scoop and slide together, he in the back to that side. And that causes tremendous problems because it's a moving mesh point as opposed to the static read.
Redshirt freshman Justin Silverman is checked into the game, and he carries it this time. We'll have a first down and more. Scant back from Tulsa's Union High School.
Yeah, one of the iconic schools along with Jenks Union, and it's about missed tackles. It's about in space. Nelson with an opportunity to put his hat across him, just throws his shoulder in there instead and can't get enough of him to push him out of bounds. And again, nice game.
It is first and goal on the 10-yard line.
This is their power run formation here. Option
to the wide side, and the pitch to Jones. Hit hard, just shy of the end zone. He may have stepped out back. Oh, no, they're going to rule him down at the 2, as I previously thought. Second and goal coming up after an 8-yard gain.
And here come their heavy personnel in again. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a similar option look when you get down here. They're not opposed to finessing you down here, but they're all about going north and south. But let's see if the big fullback is in.
Winston Dimmel. Both of them are. Dimmel is 38. Gronkowski 48. So
they love misdirection down here, Timmy.
Dimmel down to the 1. Malik Jenkins makes the stop. Now, this has been the kind of drive that you had a concern for if you were Texas Tech coming in. Lengthy. They've shared the ball quite a bit. They've been effective with their run game with both Jones and Silman. And now they go power from the 1-yard line on 3rd and goal.
Yeah, they're still in a little bit of a no-man's land because, again, remember, speed and quickness is as important as size and strength when you're inside the 5, the green zone. I still look for something else other than power, man. You got the edge up top up here.
Play clock at 2. And we've got movement. The anticipation was coming from Fehoko. I believe he may have been offsides. We'll see if he was drawn. Braden Fehoko, number 4, the freshman, of some influence.
Offside. Defense contacting the neutral zone. Half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
Fehoko got caught there again, but Timmy, here's what I'm talking about. Speed and quickness is crucial down here. If you're not that athletic from an offensive standpoint, it can be negated by guys that may be a little bit undersized but can get off on the ball quickly.
They went quick with a bunch formation, and I think they may have done themselves in and not line up accordingly. Pre-snap whistle, that's for sure.
The ball was not ready for play.
Yeah.
We're going to replay 3rd down.
Now, the good news is there was no procedure there. There was no false start. There could have easily been.
But you lose the element of surprise now.
Yeah, you do.
Let's see what they do.
Still with a bunch. Yep, go power. And there it is with Hubner. He's got to be in. No signal as yet, but come on. He's in. Touchdown. We see the pile.
That's right.
Well, that's an important drive for Kansas State.
It really is, and it's the type of drive they would have preferred to start the game off with to cool down this red-hot Texas Red Raider offense and play the type of game plan they had their eyes set on to begin with.
Well, the youngster from Cheney, Kansas, gets his 9th rushing touchdown of the year. You know, he understands what it means, you know, to follow guys like Jake Waters and, of course, Colin Klein, who's now a GA on this staff and sending in the signals to him. Go back to Roberson and Michael Bishop back in the day, the late 90s. He actually quarterbacked in a Fiesta Bowl game I had the honor of calling years ago, Michael Bishop. Kansas State's accustomed to being relevant. They need to get bowl eligible. Right now down 2 touchdowns. 5-minute and 10-second drive, 71 yards. It was textbook K-State.
It really was the kind of play and series that typifies who they are and what they want to be about. And it's impressive to see and watch, but we'll see how Texas Tech responds, and can Grant deny them with a big opportunity.
Jakeem Grant is back deep. That one will go through the end zone. And let's take a look at this touchdown.
Timmy, big plays, big days. Even if they seem nondescript, that one right there matters because it moves them closer to their goal. Step one in getting bowl eligible. And here's the big play, the one that got everybody's attention. The protection on that will go unnoticed, at least among this crowd here. But here's the key block from Charles Jones from Mandeville, Louisiana, number 24. Watch him get him in his gun sights and deliver a tremendous blow that gives Hubner the time and the space. He absorbed a little bit of it, but it gave Hubner just enough time to complete that pass.
That 5-yard penalty will be added to the touchback spot. First down.
Tanking was guilty of that foul, which nets them 5 yards after the ball was spotted, so they'll get it out to the 30-yard line. Kansas State, off of that 5-minute drive, now needs a stop, something that has been very difficult to come by against this Texas Tech offense that's been a juggernaut today. Mahomes goes to the out pattern. It's Lauderdale. He's got it up to the 37-yard line.
Devin, nice job on a little pivot route, sitting it down. But one of the things that's interesting to me is how Texas Tech is kind of taking their time. They're not really going up-tempo now, and that can tell you a lot about where an offensive coordinator's head is, Tim.
2nd and 3. Run pass option here. You got to respect that with Mahomes' ability to run it. Gets it out to the 42-yard line and a first down. Elijah Lee shoved him out.
Yeah, we talked about earlier how he's responsible for the lion's share of their offensive production. And again, those what we call RPOs, run pass options, he will definitely pull it up and throw it out of that very formation on the run.
On first down, the delay to DeAndre Washington. Inside the 40 to the 38. Newland makes the stop. A 19-yard pickup. He may have 200 by halftime.
It's the nuances of this play. Mahomes, all he did was turn his head away. And if you're an inside linebacker reading keys, that's enough to drop you back in your coverage. And the middle of the field just opened up. And Washington, again, he found another gaping hole in that Wildcat defense.
I mean, you're talking about someone that's doing something that hasn't been done here since Hanspark, for crying out loud. He is special. And they probably only call, as we've got a whistle, they probably only call about 40% of their plays.
The runner was down the previous plays under further review.
Well, they may be taking a look at where to spot this, but this is a running back that's got over 1,000 yards for the 2nd consecutive year. Byron Hanspark, last to do that. And only 40% of the plays that they're actually calling are designed to go to him.
Yeah, they may be designed to go to him, but I think one of the things you have to realize is they've been set up because they've been stretched from a defensive standpoint by these 3-by-1 formations and 4 wide. And I've even seen an empty backfield sometimes in the previous play, and then he'll come in, and then as a result of that, find a gaping hole on a basic give, you know. So it's really been set up, Tim. He's an outstanding back. We've got great speed. He's showing some of the pop that defined his early run, but they've been, you know, without a bye for so many weeks here. He was showing some rust, just maybe some wear and tear, but he looks fresh right now.
First down.
There's no denying that he was down when the ball popped free, so they did mark it at the 39-yard line. Still a first down, and the call is confirmed. 9 carries, 135 yards, and he's been coming out of the backfield for receptions, too. 31 yards of that. 2 touchdowns to go with it. 166 total yards for DeAndre Washington. Feed and Fanning, why not? Until you stop him. And Kansas State's stout up front has not been able to do it. You keep going to him.
Similar to the last play, and watch him come up through here, working in tandem with the left guard. The if route, if in fact your guard is covered, let me work up through to the linebacker. Excellent play by the guard and the center on that last play.
He got 16. That's about his average per carry today. That's an effective way to win.
Jared Castor is doing a fantastic job, number 75, of navigating the center of that offensive line.
Another one of the seniors being honored today. Here's Mahomes on the run where he's so effective. It's caught. It's Sadler inside the 5 at the 3.
There's a flag on the play.
Yeah, marker down. And Mahomes is calling his guys back, it appears. He may have been beyond the line. Let's see.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense number 65. 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. 1st and 10.
So a big mistake there will march them back as Balin Brown, who was questionable to start today at the tackle position, has been banged up a little bit out there. He and Emeka Okafor are sharing some time at that position, was guilty. And that'll back him up from the spot of the play to the 19-yard line, but still a first down.
3-by-1 formation. 5 wides, empty now. This will scare you, man. No safety help over the top. This is straight man. He's open.
Mahomes finds a wide open Lauderdale touchdown.
Tammy, you can't be partisan up here clearly, but sometimes when you see creativity and great plays, I'm just so excited to see it because you can see it before the play actually develops. A 5-by-wide look, 0, almost a bare look on the back end, nobody covering. It's really about individual players finding voids in that zone.
That field with the extra point. No, we're in the business of appreciating talent, and this kid's got a lot of it. Like Trevon Boykin and others, he uses his legs and his vision. Oh, by the way, the arm's not bad either. So many important games being played this afternoon and tonight, and I'm sure Dave Wannstedt can throw a few bangs in there to go along with Matt Leinart, who's been entertained by all of the firepower that the Big 12 has had to offer. And the great debate about the strength of this league, Spencer, goes on into November. I think for the College Football Playoff Committee, particularly when you think about Texas Tech here. Had they won that game with TCU,
oh yeah,
how might it have changed their
season?
Season?
7 wins easily at that point, Timmy. And I'm not so sure there's a conference that's backloaded in the way that it has an impact on the entire season the way our conference is.
No question. The league that we are covering is making a lot of news, and for a number of reasons. Here's Morgan Burns. He brings it out again. Had 1 for 93 yards to start this game. And look at the key games. We've got a number of them already that have been played, but obviously tonight the game in Waco. Wow. That's a huge one. TCU, Oklahoma. Baylor has to go to Oklahoma State. When you look at what's in store, and particularly now with TCU potentially without Boykin, we await word on how that ankle will respond from him after his injury earlier today, which suddenly made the Kansas game a game that was in question until very, very late. It's going to be tough to finish out this season undefeated. And Stillwater is the epicenter of the outcome of the championship of this league because everybody's got to go to their place, and they're trailing Iowa State early on today. Hubner.
Nice move.
Had a slip defensively, and Burton could not bring it in. Incomplete. A great pop coming from Keenan Ward, the strong safety, number 15.
Well, Nigel Bethel was defending back there, number 1. He came up and bit on the drive route. That's a misread, but again, had that ball been placed just a little bit softer, maybe taken a little bit off of it, he could have dropped a dime in that coverage. Burton just couldn't hang on to it.
Yeah, he was losing it before Ward hit him to help dislodge it. Charles Jones is in the backfield on 2nd and 10. Hubner out of the zone read again. That ball is tipped. Could have been picked. Very close.
Almost had one. 2-11 going the other way, man. That would have been nice to get this defense going again because there is ebb and flow in the course of every game, Tim, and you can clearly see Kansas State kind of took a little bit of that momentum back. Texas Tech trying to respond.
Huge third down here for K-State. Down 3 touchdowns with just over 3 minutes to play in the half. Streaking down the sidelines, Klein again. He brings it in again. Well, he has been the impact player for the Wildcats, no doubt about that. Had the 29-yarder in the last drive. And this time the back shoulder works.
Yeah, this is the 50-50 ball. Justin Nelson, 31, defending on this play. And again, I take my chances on that one. The big, tall, rangy receiver and a tight end over anybody on the back end there. That ball is placed intentionally on the back shoulder in between the boundary and the receiver so that he can catch it and maximize the opportunity. It helps to have 3 or 4 inches on your defender.
4 receptions, 90 yards for Kyle Klein.
Nice.
Hubner again. That one is caught inside the 15. Stephen West. Seldom used wide receiver. A 19-yard gain and another first down.
Well, Tevin Madison, the boundary corner, number 20, was part of a 3-man back end. And, you know, he's got to do a better job of understanding what's happening in front of him. You can see this is catch coverage. Number 20 will come high out of that hole and then find himself there. But that's a nice job of Hubner finding the void in that zone defense.
Well, here's the issue now. It's one thing to score, but you probably want to not score so quickly, right? Not against Texas Tech. But Jones, extending, I think, lost the ball. He did. That's a free ball in the end zone. It's recovered by Texas Tech. Is it Bethel? I think it is. Nigel Bethel's got it. It'll be a touchback. A horrible break for Kansas State unless they rule him down at the 1-yard line after extending.
Boy, Kansas State on this last series just perfected the art of sucking the joy out of an opportunity, man.
Yeah.
They had that one dead to rights.
I think they may actually have to mark this one down at the 1. Let's see.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense in the end zone for a touchback.
Wow.
But you got to believe they review it. You got to believe they take a look at this.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that the ball is out. Again, nice job of Jones of running hard, but
I think he may be down by contact at the 1-yard line, Spencer. It seemed to me that he had possession of the ball, that it was not on its way out when he hit at the 1-yard line.
Our guys just had a great look at it again, and here's an even better one right here. Watch this.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you may have to rule that one down by contact.
Yeah, the ground can cause a fumble.
It can.
It can cause a fumble.
He has possession. Does he lose? It's okay. No, that's a tough call. That's very, very difficult.
You talk about a 50-50 ball. That's a 50-50 call
and
right
this
there.
is one of those where, because the ruling on the field is what it is, then indisputable becomes a question. I'm going to say that a year ago, they would have put the ball at the 1-yard line and say it's K-State's ball.
I agree with you.
But now, based on what we've seen with the way they've handled replay at the collegiate level this season.
If they rule anything other than that, it's going to demonstrate inconsistency in terms of interpretation, Timmy.
Well, I think they've got to do that in the offseason in trying to determine what indisputable really means, because from crew to crew, and when I say crew, I mean replay crews, not the white hat, but the replay crew, it becomes, I think, somewhat subjective to them.
Well, our crew left no doubt to the angle. We clearly saw what took place. It's the interpretation, and that's up to the individual.
In my mind, you'd overturn this call and you'd give Kansas State the ball at the 1-yard line.
Well, that certainly would help Kansas State in more ways. It's obvious. And it looks...
to me, that's what the call ought to be. It should be Kansas State's ball at the 1-yard line, because he possessed the ball. He wasn't losing it on the way down to the 1.
He was extending it out there, Timmy, and he had the ball cupped.
Yes. Yeah.
I could not argue with an official who would determine that was a fumble.
Yeah.
It could go either way. That's the point.
I'm going to say that they give it to him at the 1-yard line. Mike Pereira is not with us today, so we can't go back to him, but I would tell you that...
After further review, the runner's right elbow was down. That caused the ball to come loose. By rule, he's down by rule. It will be 1st and goal at the half-yard line.
All right, so the ghost of Mike Pereira, I think, would have been siding with me there. So you said cupped. There it is.
Timmy, if you look close enough,
the elbow
did hit. It did hit.
The elbow hit first, then the ball popped out. I think it's a good reversal. Do you?
I do. I think it's a quality call and can't argue with it. Great angle, great camera work for our guys.
Did you watch your Mike Pereira tape this week?
I did.
That's must see for all of the Fox crew, no doubt about it.
He's so passionate. He gets into it, man. I'm telling you.
So it's now 1st and goal at the 1. Or inside the 1, really. And they go with that bunch formation again. And a timeout taken by Texas Tech. 2:15 remaining in the half. We'll be right back. With Spencer Tillman, Tim Brando. That was a very important reversal for K-State's fortunes as we close this half. Huebner in the bunch formation on the snap and push play. He got in there once before, but I think he may have been stopped shy this time. Nope, they're going to say he's in. Touchdown. Took a while, but once they got through the pile, Huebner has his 10th rushing touchdown of the season.
But more importantly, the lead has been cut to 14, and let's see how aggressive Texas Tech responds here. This is just power football, Timmy, putting your shoulders down and allowing that big, heavy offensive line.
How tough is that kid, though? Huebner, he absorbs as much contact as any quarterback in college football and has bounced back from injury already this year. Yeah, we talked about that Texas Tech near miss against TCU. How about K-State's, as you mentioned, against Oklahoma State? You know, he fought off injury in that game. And coming up on the State Farm halftime, Rob Stone, Dave Wanstadt, Matt Leinart will get you caught up. Oklahoma State is on upset alert on the road. Jack Trice Stadium today. TCU squeaking out a win. It was tough, very difficult on senior day there. That and a whole lot more coming up with our guys back in Los Angeles. Jakeem Grant is back deep. We'll see if K-State scored too quickly. Yeah, look at this, though. Wide open spaces to the field. Stopped at the 29-yard line. How entertaining is this one today? 29-yard return. Let's get a game break from Jenny Taft in Los Angeles.
Well, Tim, I got to keep you posted on number 1 ranked Clemson visiting Syracuse. This game was tied at 14, but Clemson's starting to show their true colors as Deshaun Watson finds Deion Kane 40 yards for the touchdown. The Tigers pulling away up 31-17 at the half. Tim Spencer, back to you.
All right, Jenny, thank you. They have made a tremendous claim, the Dabo Swinney's team, about consistency. Getting rid of Florida State, finally getting over that hump is very important for them. Here's Lauderdale on the receiving end of the quick wide receiver screen.
Yeah, Timmy, Watson has got to be considered for the Heisman, too. You know, we're talking about all these other guys who have been front runners and some new entrants. Deshaun has done an excellent job of getting that offense at the elite levels.
2nd and 5 for Mahomes. The longer he keeps the play alive, his batting average is better than 50%. It really is. He unloads that one in the general direction of Ian Sadler. Marquell Bryant, 45, was giving chase.
Yeah, he had to get creative because Will Davis, the inside linebacker, number 35, he's the one that turned him and denied the edge. And so Mahomes just does what Mahomes does and went for a walkabout and tried to make something happen.
3rd down and 5 with 1:20 remaining in the half.
I got a little sneaky blitz action here off the corner.
Mahomes. Chuck and duck, baby. Chuck and duck. This time it's incomplete, intended for DeAndre Washington as he tried to go underneath, and it'll be a punt formation. A very important stop for Kansas State.
You know, a lot of times the inside linebacker is playing a spy technique. He's looking through to the quarterback, and he doesn't come, but he denies the quarterback the opportunity, or at least the sense that he can run downfield. Yeah. As athletic as Mahomes is, he doesn't want to be taken on linebackers as a steady diet.
Yeah, and he actually forced that ball to be thrown low, didn't he?
He did indeed.
Barden to boot it away. Dominic Heath is back deep. So it's a line driver angling for the sidelines. Great to see him. One of my all-time favorites. Of course, won the national championship at Kentucky in '98. I've played a little golf with him in the day, and he's a wonderful, wonderful guy that couldn't come to Texas Tech at a better time.
Yeah, my connection goes back to 91, 95. I stayed connected with the University of Tulsa and some charitable efforts.
Where it all started.
Absolutely.
Cradle of coaches in college basketball, Tulsa.
Remember the old Paul Pressey?
Yeah. Nolan Richardson started it, and then Tubby kept it going. Bill Self was there too.
Yes, he was.
And here's a pass for West, incomplete at midfield.
Well, incidental contact there, but obviously they waved that off.
By the way, Tubby's team beat High Point, which is where he went to school, just outside Greensboro. It was a tough game last night, and he was talking about how that was a little harder than he needed it to be to get that first college basketball victory of the season.
Remember the 95, the Golden Hurricane defeated the Big Ten Illini to open March Madness that year. That was one of the benchmark games I remember.
Charles Jones in the backfield on 2nd and 10. Shooting it for West again, incomplete. I give Kansas State credit. They know you're going to have to score to stay with Texas Tech. They are not plotting on this drive, are they? They are looking downfield and looking to score as much as they can.
And we know what they want to do, but let me tell you, this Kansas State team can score points. They just don't want to get into a shooting match with a team that does it as a staple. And so I respect it, but if they'd have played a much cleaner first half, Timmy, this game would be neck and neck.
Showing pressure now.
Yeah, off the edge. Hubner, though, has a beautiful pocket to work with for Burton, and it's knocked away. Bethel back there to make the play yet again. Burton has been targeted a number of times. That time, Bethel had plenty of time to catch up to it.
Yeah, Bethel knew he was on an island, man coverage. You saw at least 5 defenders coming, trying to put pressure on the quarterback, and that means that you're back there, guys. You got to become an island of excellence and defend with your honor.
That was only a 25-second drive, which gives Texas Tech time to work with again. Batson takes the punt. Gives them a nice return for quality field position to work with. Well, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with the Movember Foundation and their commitment to changing the face of men's health. Join us at moteam.com/fox-sports to learn more about how we are getting involved in the Movember movement.
Men's health is an important issue in all communities, Tim, and it's a big deal. Very important. You know, my grandmother, she had tongue firmly in cheek when she would say it. She said, you know, you don't find too many old big people around,
yeah. You know? You need to stay healthy. That's right. Lauderdale on the receiving end. Stopped, though, back at the 40-yard line. Will Davis has been all over the place, playing that, as you called it, spy technique a moment ago. And a quick timeout taken by Texas Tech. You know, we'll see if he, in fact, did touch the ground. They ruled him down.
Yeah, I don't think his knee did touch the ground.
No.
If he could have spun out of that and kept going.
That reminds me of the old Auburn play against Oregon.
Right. It's happened.
That one?
It's happened a couple of times already this year, and
helped put the BCS championship game away that year.
Did. And if they were to review that play, and you know it's not reviewable obviously, but if they would have seen that he was on top of the defender.
So 2nd down and 11 after the whistle stopped play. 26 seconds left. They have a free one here with offsides. He's going to chuck it long for Lauderdale. Incomplete. Duke Shelley was back there covering.
Markel Bryant, the defensive end, is the one that's going to get called for the infraction.
Offside. Defense, number 45, in the neutral zone with the snap. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Yeah, that's Markel Bryant, and he just got a little bit anxious. Bill Snyder doesn't coach that, man. He's about discipline, and that's one of the trademarks and hallmarks of his program and his team.
2nd down and 6. Pressure off the edge this time, and that pass is incomplete. Ricocheting right off of Grant.
Yeah, Jordan Willis was coming with a beeline off that edge, man. All 6'5", 255 pounds of that junior. He was hell-bent for election, and Mahomes had to get rid of that one in a hurry.
Third down and 6 coming with 14 seconds left. Texas Tech does have the 1 timeout remaining, so they can throw the ball anywhere they really want. They try to get down into field goal position to close out the half.
This is what Mahomes is concerned about right here. It's a pre-snap look that they're calling, and he's trying to get in the proper play. That's a nice job.
He threw it right where Elijah Lee was blitzing from. And Sadler's got it to the 40. They do have the timeout, but he wants to clock it first after they set the ball. And he does. 6 seconds left. Now, do you have time for one more play and then a field goal?
I think you do, but as Cliff Kingsbury looks on, I think the point of that last play, Eric Morris was brilliant in discerning exactly what he was looking at and throwing the ball where they went away from. So these coaches are so engaged, man, and it's the nuances of the game that really set them apart. And this is one of the youngest and brightest in all of college football right here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they load up and go for the touchdown. You know, they got a trips formation here to the bottom of your screen, or if they take the quick 10-yard out and then try to set up for a field goal. 6 seconds is normally about what it takes to throw that pass. And he quickly goes to the wide receiver screen, and Lauderdale does step out with 2 ticks left. So that was the design, to get an opportunity perhaps at 3.
Yeah, and he got those extra yards because Jakeem Grant was all 5'9" of him, man. He's not 5'9". He's got to be like 5'7". This guy is so strong. Former power lifter, the heart and soul of this offense. Outstanding spirit.
All right, so here's Hatfield. He does have 1 field goal between the 40 and 49 on the year. He's 11 of 12 on the season. This one will be from 52. Pushed it. Had the distance, but he pushed it right. And that'll do it for the first half. Texas Tech leads it by 4. It's been a remarkable performance in both the run and pass game for DeAndre Washington.
Yeah, it's about how you channel those emotions, and Washington certainly has, to the tune of 200 yards when you combine what he's done through the air and, of course, on the ground. Over 151 yards rushing from number 21. He has been outstanding. He's run between the tackles very effectively, complementing their outside pass in the game, giving Mahomes an opportunity to have an option that keeps this Kansas State Wildcat defense on its heels and in control.
So Kansas State won the toss, deferred. They will get the ball to open the second half. Burns will not have a chance with that prevailing wind to bring it out. He does have the 93-yarder to open the game for Kansas State's first points.
Jim, you know, a second thought here about what's been the key in this first half. If we look at the Kansas State Wildcat offense come out, it's really been Joe Hoodner being contained in the run game. He's 7 carries for just 12 yards. He had 153 against Baylor. He had the explosive plays. So David Gibbs' defense has done a tremendous job of containing what could arguably be considered their best asset.
Yeah, this is a Texas Tech defense, Spencer, that was out of 128 schools, right? 127 coming in against the run.
They stepped up big time.
Jones was in the backfield on 1st and 10. Kyle Klein, a favorite target, 81 at the bottom of your screen. Jones cuts it back up. There's an example of what you would anticipate K-State to try to accomplish in the second half. Micah Alway, number 18, making the tackle.
And what you just saw was an example of an adjustment and how you're able to come in at halftime and do things that are outstanding. You see a double tight end look here. The one on your left, as you're looking at it at home, will release and come up through, get the inside guy and get an opportunity to let Jones get past him and run through perhaps a tackle.
A long drive and a successful one would really benefit and change the tenor of this game here in the second half. Another great move by Jones. He's out for another 6, maybe 7 yards. J.J. Gaines makes the stop.
Yeah, what you're seeing is the wisdom of an experienced coaching staff going in at halftime and looking what you're doing inside the tackle play, because the option game was not working on the perimeter. So they're coming back and doing what we call tandem blocks inside and asking Jones to be judicious. Bill Snyder is so efficient and he's so smart as a coach. He's finding opportunity where it doesn't appear to be.
Justin Silman replaces Jones on 2nd and 4. Looking long again. Great help from Nigel Bethel. That pass intended for Dominic Heath. Bethel comes over to provide the help that was necessary for David Gibbs' defense.
And it's tough sometimes when you're 5'9". You can be intimidated when you've got big receivers you've got to defend. But Heath was down there, and, of course, Bethel was defending. Did an excellent job in his assignment.
3rd and 4. You know, after Cody Cook made that nice grab, pulled up a little bit lame with a hamstring, we haven't heard him or seen him since. West is back in the game. Klein is up at the top of your screen on 3rd and 4. Clock is winding down. This could be a penalty. Yeah, it is. I'm surprised they didn't get the timeout.
Delay a game. Offense. Number 8. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
I mean, 3rd and 9 versus 3rd and 4 for this offense is huge.
Timmy, watch. It's all about run force out here. We know these guys have to cover sometime, but doing a tremendous job of coming up and forcing the play and then closing to help on a single coverage scenario. That's great ball hawking defensive play by this back end of Texas Tech.
So after the delay of game penalty, 3rd and long facing Huebner. Jones is back in the game in the backfield. Trying for the slant. Bethel right there again in front of Deontay Burton. A really good series for number 1 in red.
I'll have to give Bethel my cover brother award, man. He's covering like a blanket out there, man. He is all over the place, and this back end needs it in the worst way because, again, that was one of the themes coming in. Can they defend? It's not that Kansas State is necessarily a prolific passing team, but when they do, they can hurt you. Texas Tech has been up to the challenge.
Fair catch is called for by Batson off the foot of Nick Walsh. Inside the 20-yard line to the 19. 41-yard punt. There's David Gibbs. He was so pumped up about coaching one more time against Bill Snyder. He played at Colorado. And, you know, Snyder had come into the league at that point. So as a player, he opposed Coach Snyder. That's true for a lot of guys that were collegians in the Big 12. He said this is a thrill. And listen, I talked, and you did too, with Coach Snyder earlier in the week. I got the impression that there have been some reports that he may step down for a second time. You know, this is maybe the greatest second act in the history of college football. I got the impression that he still digs what he's doing. I certainly hope so. The game needs him.
In fact, he told us as much. He said, look, the only way I would necessarily leave is if they didn't want me. You know, that's, and I don't think that's the case when you're playing at a place that's stadium is named after you.
Look at that. What they did with him versus without him.
It's incredible.
Says all you need to know. That's one of the reasons why when someone starts debating who are the greatest coaches in the game, I don't get into that debate. I really don't. What he's done in his region of the country with the geography he's faced is astounding. Washington.
Yeah, he's running heavy.
Is he ever? Ball's loose late. But a late flag comes down. I think the ball is going to be awarded to Kansas State. Will Geary comes out of there with it.
Well, based on the lateness of the flag, it should have no bearing on possession. Who has it? Clearly that ball was out.
And he was forward progress had not stopped. You were just talking about him running heavy. Well, one of the big keys here is, was there a whistle that had been blown? We went through this last week. Let's hope that's not the case this week.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 71 of the offense. That 15-yard penalty we enforced in the dead ball spot. That's a 1st and 10.
Yeah, that's a good call. Geary just strips him here. The big sophomore.
Big Will became Slick Will there.
Yes,
he uses squat 6 foot, 297-pound frame to pull that one out and just won the leverage battle there and gave his team another opportunity. Tim, we talked about this before the half, how each game is defined by ebb and flow. You know, if Kansas State scores here, you've got another context on your hand. Now they have got momentum and they can slow the clock down a little bit and force Texas Tech to play left-handed, which is what they don't want to do.
This is really the first short field that Kansas State has had to work with all day after the turnover. 1st and 10 at the 19-yard line. Burton is up at the top of your screen. Heath in the slot. There they go with Jones. And he gets 7, maybe 8 yards. J.J. Gaines with a stop.
Now, Kansas State has found a little solution running in between the tackle and that guard gap inside that Texas Tech front. And they're going to keep going to the well until they can be stopped.
Kansas State 3-5. This is the 3rd time in Snyder's illustrious career that his team has lost 5. They've never lost 6 in a row. And they're trying to become bowl eligible too, with winnable games in the latter stages of November. 2nd and 4. Jones should have the first down at the 9.
Timmy, that's an outstanding job of scheming by Kansas State. And, you know, their left tackle actually stood up in his stance to give the impression that it was going to be a pass play. There is no distinguishing between what they do when they run and they pass. And it's tough to, as a result, to get reads on them. You think you've got momentum, and they come downhill on you out of a pass set, which is crazy. Look at that left tackle back there.
That's Cody Whitehair, 55. Here's Huebner running right behind him, and he stopped dead in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. Not much this time. That's Devontae Hinton, who's just been outstanding. David Gibbs can't stop talking positively about this true freshman. One of 2 that's played really big out of Texas City, Texas.
So now this is a game, and the feel and the tenor of this game is more consistent with what Kansas State's want here. They want a slower game, one that they can anticipate. Even when they go to a trips formation right here, chances are they're not going to pass it, but at least that's not their MO. They got man coverage, so they got an opportunity.
There goes Jones. Charles Jones down to the 1-yard line. And that's Micah Holloway wrestling him to the ground. Got a little bit of help from Jashawn Johnson. Well, we know what they've dialed up from the 1-yard line. It's been the push of Matt Leinart back in the day. Just allow Joe Huebner to take the snap with a power formation. Let's see what they go with here.
Well, they've taken the stars out of the game for this game. We talked about those rushing numbers. It's the back end. And the 3-formation side, they took it away. Now they come back with 1. This is clearly telling you either they're going for an ISO or they're going for a power play.
Gronkowski is the fullback.
Option.
Huebner reads it perfectly for the touchdown. His 11th rushing touchdown of the year. His 3rd of the day.
Huebner had an easy read on that inside run option game. He's not motioning, or at least reading the end. It's that second guy. He's almost like a nose tackle. And if he crashes down, then he's going to continue on. And if he widens, he's just going to dart it upfield and score just like he did. That's outstanding job of reading by Huebner.
He got the short field. Geary collects the turnover with a big-time play, wrestling it away from DeAndre Washington. And Kentelly with the extra point, and just like that, once down by 4 touchdowns, DeAndre Washington on senior day knows, I just allowed K-State back in it. And Huebner plods his way back into the end zone. There's Jakeem Grant, who's had a number of big plays already today, but that first quarter, which was so explosive, now seems a long time ago. And the lead is down to 1 score. Grant is going to be ruled down inside the 20-yard line.
And with Cody Cook, another one of their versatile weapons, not in the game now, knocked out early, perhaps a hamstring injury. I would be feeling pretty good about the flow of this game if I'm Kansas State.
They never abandon the game plan. You know that Bill Snyder's team won't. They're going to go with option for DeAndre Washington towards the boundary. Quality gain of about 8 right there. 2nd and 2 coming up as Caleb Pruitt made the tackle.
Yeah, Caleb did a nice job of shedding to help out the one corner who was coming up to force that. And again, you're going to be optioning off one of those cornerbacks, but the other one who's being blocked has got to make a play.
2nd and 2, just like that, to Sadler for a first down. Past the 40 to the 41. Pruitt again makes the stop.
Yeah, Pruitt's all over the place, but Sadler really caught that ball in flow, and you see the up-tempo now. Texas Tech getting back to who they are with pace and tempo.
Justin Stockton and DeAndre Washington in the backfield on 1st and 10. Mahomes dumps it on the check down to Stockton. He's got a touchdown today, coming out as a safety valve. Sean Newland ushered him out.
The previous quick pass right here is appetizing because of that little void. Soft coverage, sits it down, and then takes advantage of this soft zone coverage of the Wildcats. Nice pitch and catch.
Limiting explosive plays. That's the mantra for this Kansas State team here in the second half. And Lauderdale would have been off to the races had not that one-on-one tackle in space not been made, but it was by Duke Shelley.
Yeah, Duke was really Johnny on the spot there. Again, because they were in a man cover scheme outside, if he doesn't make that tackle, there's a chance to tightrope down the sideline for more.
2nd and 5. Washington spinning, churning, and pounding his way down to the 30-yard line. Well, this is now a career high for DeAndre Washington, and we've got the entire second half to play.
Oh, spin. Elijah Lee on the effort trying to make the play, and it's an outstanding job of getting extra yards.
Mahomes, discretion the better part of valor, decides to step out of bounds. But a healthy gain again on 1st down, and they are going quickly, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Quick out to Cameron Batson. And that'll be another 1st down inside the 20-yard line.
You can see how Batson and the rest of these wide receivers is so aggressive and physical. After they get the ball in their hands, they're able to get upfield and continue to fight and push for more with the stiff arm.
Well, Batson had one of those drops last week against West Virginia. These guys are holding on to it today for the most part. 1st and 10.
Speed sweep.
There it goes to Justin Stockton. Justin Stockton again. Touchdown.
One of the most difficult plays to defend, the speed sweep against a team that doesn't necessarily have the foot speed to match this high-powered Texas Tech offense. That's just my guy better and faster than your guy.
Yet another example of how quickly this basketball on grass can answer a long and methodical drive. Hubner got it in on the zone read. But shortly thereafter, Texas Tech, that is officially a pass on the jet sweep. Mahomes will take it. It is lovely in Lubbock on Senior Day, and their beloved Red Raiders assert themselves quickly and get it to 42 to 28. There you see the 81-yard scoring drive ending on the jet sweep toss to Stockton.
By their standards, 223 is an eternity, man. That's a long time.
Morgan Burns is back deep. This one is returnable. But then again, maybe not the wisest of decisions. The ball hung in the air for a while. Sam Atoy down there to make the tackle, leading the charges.
Sam Atoy had 2 opportunities to make that play, and it sticks to the stick-to-itiveness of Atoy on that last play. He had him in his gun sights, missed once, stayed with the play and engaged, and came back and made the tackle for a 2nd time. They're swarming are the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Now, this is the worst set of circumstances for Kansas State to have to begin this series on their own 5-yard line. Charles Jones had an outstanding series in the last drive. He's inching up on 100 yards for the day, just shy of 90. Nothing doing this time, though. Alway with the stop.
Paul Rose, a 2-1 since that matchup?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And again, like Texas Tech, a much better team at home than on the road. Pass intended for Burton. Bethel all over him. Wisely, it was thrown out of anyone's reach by Hubner. 3rd and 10. And the crowd is back in it now.
Yeah, they are jacked up.
They go shotgun here.
Let's see if David Gibbs stays content to play zone. Looks like it's just a 3-man front. They'll bring him 3.
Hubner rolls out of trouble. Dangerous pass, but overthrown again, intended for Valentine, the tight end, number 88, and they'll have to punt from their own end zone.
Yeah, Dayton really wasn't open again. The pressure wasn't that great necessarily. Hubner could have taken his time a little bit, but Valentine was on the receiving end of it. He's backed up in his end. Look, he had plenty of time, plenty of room to perhaps drop a dime, but accuracy is not one of the skills or one of the values and features that define his game.
Cameron Batson is at midfield awaiting this punt from Walsh. He needs a good one here. Short. And out of bounds inside the 35. Not a good time to shank one. He got that one on the instep, only a 29-yard boot. So a very short field. And DeAndre Washington's already having a career day. We'll see him again when we return. (42-28) Texas Tech, and you know the fans now are smelling it. A real tipping point in this game with that last drive beginning with coverage on the kick.
Sometimes you forget about special teams. It's a third of what you're doing. In a tight game like this, it's going to matter. Texas Tech with excellent coverage skills down there. And then alternately, the poor punt here, just 29 yards, the net on it. Will special teams play a difference? I guarantee you this guy right here, Bill Snyder, knows it often does, particularly in tight contests.
Yeah, that's just not acceptable for him. He is a stickler for that third wheel of success in college football. Stockton and Washington in the backfield, and we've got pre-snap whistle. Looks like a false start.
Continuing that theme of special teams, besides Morgan Burns' big return.
False start. Offense, number 6. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's been the highlight for Kansas State, is that big return on special teams. Otherwise, it's been pretty nondescript.
So Lauderdale backs him up with the false start. Look at that. 1:35, your average scoring time. Davis. Well, you're talking about a team that averages 60 when they play at home. That's like pinball work on the scoreboard, and they're on pace for that right now. They are.
So what they're doing now is just showing you they want to get it versus soft coverages of what you have right up here. They want to get the ball as quickly as they possibly can against Burns in this particular case to make a play in open field. So as K-State continues to play soft coverage, they're going to continue to get that ball out as quickly as they can.
Option again, DeAndre Washington. He was stopped by Marquell Bryant there. They had him bracketed beautifully as he was headed towards the boundary.
They really did. They played with so much integrity, and Bryant just showed you textbook how to play the option game. You know, a lot of times people try to play in space and shuffle along with him, but if you know you're not faster, just take one of them away.
3rd down and 7. Jonathan Giles has not caught a pass today. He's in the slot, number 9. They use about 11 of them.
Bringing pressure now.
And they loft one in the direction of Giles. Incomplete.
Well, it's effective because it was incomplete and not accurate. A 5-man rush that time put a little bit of pressure on Mahomes.
You know, there are times when I think that because of the way he plays the position and all of the personnel they have, that he just makes up his mind he's going to throw it to a certain guy.
I think he does, and I think that's part of his maturation process. He'll get to the point where he can go 1, 2, 3, check down, throw away, as opposed to if that first read is not there, I'm going to throw it away. And so as he matures as a quarterback and Cliff believes that they can put more of his on his plate, he'll be able to do more.
48-yard try coming for Hatfield, who missed a 52-yarder earlier. Comes up short. No, he did get it. How about that? That one hit. As they say, the crossbar can be kind.
That's right.
Amazing. Well, we were talking to Tubby Smith earlier. The iron can be kind or unkind around the rim. This one hits.
Wow.
And goes right through and gets the ball just past the crossbar. Wow. The lead is 17. So after a special teams breakdown for Kansas State, the Red Raiders come back off the leg of Hatfield with a 48-yard field goal and extend their lead to 17. Can atone for what happened in that last sequence by taking a knee. He does. This is a very important series, don't you think?
It really is. This is the type of series that can, again, a Bill Snyder coach team will never lay down. But in terms of just momentum, this will be an opportunity for growth for this Texas Tech team to put the dagger in there, because we certainly know just by looking at that mean number of time it takes them to score, they can be dangerous offensively.
They've really been hampered by the loss of Cody Cook. That hamstring pull on that pass that he caught in the first half cost him. Going deep again for 81 Klein, and this time it is incomplete. He's caught two big ones for 29-plus yards. Justice Nelson was there in coverage.
That's a throw that they're familiar with and comfortable with, as you noted, the back shoulder throw. It's placed properly, and again, we saw it a little bit earlier. The recurring theme went the well once, why not go again? Coming up on the short end the third time.
When you think of all the injuries they've had at the quarterback position, Cook was actually their second choice. They would be, if something were to happen to Huebner and Cook is unable to go, they would really have trouble at the quarterback position. So Huebner needs to stay upright the rest of the way. Option towards the boundary. He decides to keep it. It's a wise choice. He gets it ahead to the 30-yard line.
It was a wise choice, but it was really tough to dissect. Coming down into the short side of the field, Huebner did an excellent job of making that decision as late as possible. That's what made it work. The option, whether it's old school or new school, is one of nuance, and you have to make proper decisions, particularly if you're the quarterback, and so important to your offense.
Huge chain-moving play coming up for Kansas State. They go Jones. Nice play call that time to get the first down beyond the 35 to the 37. Deshaun Johnson made the stop. Texas Tech was thinking pass there all the way.
Yeah, and it was a nice decision because they ran to the bubble, which is the weakest side there. The guard is uncovered, and they just really ran where they ain't, as the old school folks used to say it. If you've got a three-defender side and nobody's over the guard, that's the weakest part of the front. So, great play call.
Jones now with 91 yards on 15 carries.
Interesting reduction here. This is a weak part of that defense.
Jones.
They need to bring it back.
Micah Awe gets in the way.
You know, Jones has done an excellent job of running and scoring today, but anytime you look up, it's not just a quarterback who's restricted to having a pre-snap read versus a reduction or an end that comes down like he did. The path is going to naturally take you to the outside. Jones has got to have vision to see where the opportunities will be.
2nd and 9 after a pickup of only one. Jumping the route, that could have been a pick. Wow. Bethel has been there all day, and he read the eyes of the quarterback there. It was Kyle Klein all the way.
Yeah, Bethel, the last 3 or 4 times we've seen him with tremendous mirroring technique and skill set. Once he recognizes the route, he's breaking on it almost as fast as the receivers are able to recognize it. So again, Bethel, excellent route recognition. Just needs to finish it off with a pick.
That's why time of possession has gone the way of the dinosaur in statistical data. As quickly as Texas Tech can score, They get you in one of these types of games, you're in trouble. 3rd and 9. That pass is dropped. Klein had it, would have been a first down. And maybe even a big play if he had caught it.
Yeah, Klein has got to catch that. I'm not so sure he would have been able to keep his feet, but there's no question that they got the ball, did Hubner to him in stride and in motion. You can see as he releases, he comes underneath that smash route. It's kind of a natural pick that got him open, and he came open, but he just couldn't close the business deal with the reception. Nice smash concept. Again, it's not a pick, but it's a wonderful way to get a big guy open.
Batson with the fair catch called at the 13-yard line. Well, remarkable coaching from Snyder throughout the years. Look at this. And by the way, Gary Pinkel, our heart, our souls, and our prayers go out to Gary, announcing his retirement due to diagnosis of lymphoma before the season got underway. Spurrier, O'Leary, Beamer. We got 10 jobs out there available. Big jobs at the FBS level. That was the last of great eras for all of those coaches.
And Timmy, with all of those guys that we're looking at, those outstanding coaches, they have something in common, and maybe we'll unpack it here after this play.
Lauderdale. Quick screen, and he gets it out to the 18-yard line, pick up a 5.
All those guys we saw have the ability to affect the lives of young men, and they do it in different ways. Some of them know how to needle you like a Steve Spurrier. Some others are more pastoral like a Pinkel, but they all get excellent results. We don't want to miss them.
Washington close to the first down yardage, maybe a little shy. Going back to Pinkel for a moment, in Columbia, Missouri, you think back, now he's the winningest coach in the history of that school. They were in this league, the Big 12, for a long, long time. Like Manhattan, Kansas, that's a geographically challenged school in terms of recruiting for college football, and he did a masterful job there for many years. DeAndre Washington carries for the first down. Back to the 25-yard line. I mean, Dan Devine had his moments. Of course, Coach Perot was magnificent. The field is named after him. Woody Woodenhofer was there. Member of he was an alum of Missouri. But this job done, as you see that pass dumped over to Reginald Davis out to the 33-yard line, and Texas Tech goes quickly.
Yeah, it's a tough place to recruit sometimes, but you know, they've got the best journalism school in the nation, so that's I always be proud of that. Listen, I remember they always fielded tough defenses.
They did.
Mack, I think was his name, knocked me out one time on national TV, and like that hit right there.
Jakeem Grant belted right at the 29-yard line by Duke Shelley. He got him right on the numbers there. And Grant is holding that elbow.
Not good.
That's not good.
Yeah, sometimes we call those stingers where a guy gets nailed like that, but when he's holding it, it can't really control it. That's not really a good sign.
A clean hit too. Very strong, clean hit by Shelley. He went low and got him right on the numbers.
Yeah.
His arm was tied up there. You can see where it is. Bent backwards there. He's a tough kid, Grant. The toughest on the team. and that's not even a debate, by the way.
No question. On either side of the ball, offense or defense. Again, as we said earlier, he's a former champion power lifter. And the guy, I watched him on tape just the other night against one of the top defenders from West Virginia, and he just bench pressed this guy. And I said, this is a Grant is like 5'7", 5'8", 190 pounds or so.
I think that was Kwiatkowski, their best defender. DeAndre Washington. In the backfield.
I didn't want to put him out there like that, Timmy.
Yeah. 3rd down and 5. Well, he is their best defender. 3rd down and 5. It's caught. It's Davis. First down into K-State territory. 24 yards.
Well, it took a pride of Wildcats to chase him down, but again, not before Davis got big yardage on that one.
Washington again. They're getting 5-6 yards at a chunk on first down on the ground. That's Elijah Lee that made contact with him, number 9 for K-State.
You really are, and you just nailed what the key is to these last few drives. When you can get chunk yards on first down 5 and then put them in those run-pass conflict scenarios where you're not quite sure if they're inclined to run or pass, it really is tough to defend.
We talked about it in the first half, Spencer. Washington now is a yard away from 200 on the day. Easily his best performance on senior day. Hangs it through inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, and that should end the third quarter. But you never know with these guys. They have to set it, and more than likely will allow the clock to wind down.
Nice pass.
K-State had closed it to 7, and then Texas Tech said enough with that. Fans rise to attention to salute their seniors, looking for bowl eligibility to give those mighty freshmen some more practice time. He's just gotten over 200. First time to do it since 1999. For the fourth quarter with Texas Tech potentially with an all-time day offensively against a Kansas State team now that's reeling after having closed it to 7 in the early stages of the third.
Offensively, Texas Tech has avoided some of the issues that really defined their troubles over the last few weeks. Their receivers have caught the ball exceptionally well. Washington has run it extremely well today. We know about his 200 yards rushing or getting close to it, but how about the 30-plus he has receiving? Again, another opportunity here to extend and close the deal.
And DeAndre Washington adding to his total yards, taking that swing.
Patrick Mahomes pass complete to number 21, DeAndre
out for about another 6 yards. I'll call it a 5-yard game. Second down and 5.
I think another story is that they were able to manage all of the emotions that define this senior day and kept it in check early. And although there was ebb and flow, Kansas State responded a couple of times. They've maintained an even kill for the most part, as the Red Raiders.
Well, he's been big when called upon, too, hasn't he? Wrestled
really
down at the... I believe he got to the spot for the first down. Donnie Starks made the stop. That's a first down.
I mean, you talk about like smoke through a keyhole. He just found a little natural lane in there and found an opening and sifted through that Wildcat defensive front.
This is a must-stop situation for the Wildcats. At the very least, hold them to 3. Mahomes. That looked designed. Elijah Lee pulls him down.
That was an odd design because you had a 4-receiver side.
Or busted play, one or the other.
It was definitely busted because you got 4 receivers out there, and it may have been a run-pass option, but there was nobody to throw it to that was looking for the ball anyway.
Second down and 11. Empty backfield. 5 wides here.
Yeah, balance, and actually it is 5 wide. You're right, Timmy B. You're good.
Dragged down at the 20. Tanner Wood, 34, the sophomore from Conway Springs, Kansas.
Yeah, Mahomes doing his Huebner impersonation there. That was a classic zone read option where it doesn't really require you to have great speed. It's just making the proper read for a modest gain.
I'm really impressed with Stockton. They're all over the place. Third down and 7 here. Reginald Davis is the wide receiver to the bottom of the screen. Trips up to the top. And we've got a pre-snap whistle. We have a timeout?
Texas
I think
Tech.
we may have. Texas Tech gets a
First time
timeout.
out of the half.
My goodness, 586 total yards given up by a K-State defense. That just seems remarkable. I can't remember the last time that I've seen a Bill Snyder team give up this many yards, although in this league, through the years, there have been some dominant offenses.
I guess 88 would have been the last time Kansas State gave up that much, but that was Stan Parrish's last year.
DeAndre Washington is in the backfield on 3rd down and 7. Yeah, that was the futility U matchup between Kansas and Kansas State, you may recall. Jakeem Grant gets out for another first down. But almost too easy, and you see he's favoring that left shoulder again. He's going to have to come out.
You can see, again, trying to make a play. It's about blocking and helping your teammate. And, boy, the Grant did help there. He got a tremendous job and an opportunity to extend that play.
Sadler made the big block, number 12, the slot receiver, to help spring him. 1st and 10. Mahomes this time is wrapped up. He kept the play alive for a period of time. Sean Newland at finally was wrapped up by Shermichael Moore, 52. He just kept the play going after the initial contact by Newland.
If you're going to run this zone read or this type of option game, you got to be more definitive and aggressive, to be quite honest with you, because you can wind up getting a quarterback that's gifted like Mahomes hurt.
Well, he's been banged up already this year. Just getting healthy, really. Washington again, pounding it. About a yard shy of a first down, maybe a yard and a half.
It was a subtle move, Tim, but Washington showed you again the art of running in tight quarters. He just showed you an excellent inside running job.
Look at that. Amazing day for him. Mahomes on his own. Touchdown. Yep, they're on pace for 60, and that's their average at home.
Mahomes showing you his athleticism on that play, and sometimes those linebackers get going in one direction. It's a lot more difficult for them to pivot and turn and respond. Mahomes showing you, again, the skill to score.
Hatfield's extra point makes it 52. I recall a day when your old coach Barry Switzer used to say, Spencer, can we hang 50 on them?
Put that ball away, that's what he'd be saying.
Yeah. Ball security may be a question, but right now the outcome may not be. And 52-28 our score, 11 and a half to go. Patrick Mahomes is moving up the list. Look at that. Allison, Zebby Lethbridge, remember him?
Oh, yeah.
How much fun was that offense with him? Great quarterback pedigree here at Texas Tech, and that was even before the air raid got here. Old friend of mine and neighbor Billy Joe Tolliver played here.
Oh, Billy Joe. Had a cup of coffee with him at Houston.
Yep, spent some time there and finished his career in the NFL in New Orleans and actually played in the CFL in my hometown of Shreveport to close out his career. Morgan Burns will take it from the goal line. He had a 93-yarder earlier, you may recall. He stays alive and gets it out to the 40. Time for a game summary brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company. And the numbers continue to grow for the Red Raiders offensively. Doubling up on first downs, and DeAndre Washington's been unstoppable, Spence.
Anytime Kansas State has mounted a response, they've returned a response in like kind, whether it's via special teams, again, another creative play, a speed sweep, a timely pass downfield, and the creativity of this offense coming to bear. We talked about not leaving your bucket empty before it's over with, and that's exactly what Texas Tech has done offensively tonight.
They pressed the tempo of this game, got it the style they wanted. Hubner in trouble, flushed. He was outside the tackle box. Time now for a game break from Ames, Iowa. The latest from Jenny Taft in Los Angeles.
Well, Tim, here's an update for you. Between Oklahoma State and Iowa State, J.W. Walsh finds true freshman Jeff Carr as the Cowboys take their first lead of the game. With 2 minutes to go, Oklahoma State up 35-31 in the fourth quarter.
That is huge for the Big 12 Conference at this stage, largely because I agree with what Matt Leinart said at halftime, Jenny. This conference needs an undefeated regular season champion if they want to get through to the Final Four of college football. Oklahoma State right now is that team. That pass is caught. Burton's got it right at midfield. Should be a first down.
The thing I like about Oklahoma State is the way that they're winning some of these games, having to come back. They have the narrative of history, at least in the short term, having beaten Oklahoma last year, and the way Mike's team has responded. They've got one key injury on the defensive front they've got to deal with, but outside of that, working the two quarterback situation there, it's been outstanding.
I mean, how they held on against Kansas State. I mean, they've had to win. The West Virginia game was in doubt until very late. Charles Jones on the check down. Iowa State still has time, obviously, and The last 2 minutes playing at home. We shall see. Hubner looking long. That one could have been picked. Now we get a flag. Dominic Heath was the intended receiver. He got popped. That was Deshaun Johnson that hit him. And I'm curious as to whether this is going to be a targeting situation. Personal foul-oriented penalty.
It may be a personal foul, but I don't think he's going to call it targeting because, again, I think he was trying to pull off. If he wanted to nail him, he was defenseless. He could have really laid the wood on him.
I thought he was in a position to get an interception, and the receiving player actually ran into him.
Yeah, I think you're going to see his shoulder, though, ends up nailing him as opposed to helmet.
Foul with targeting.
Yeah, targeting. Wow. I thought it was targeting.
Well, see, that's interesting.
I thought it was the reaction alone from Kingsbury told me that it was going to be a targeting situation.
Okay, but let's take a look at it again and see if the shoulder. I mean, that's a shoulder shot. Yeah. That's not a helmet-to-helmet shot.
No, it was more a case of the elbow and shoulder being thrown. I agree with you, Spencer.
No, man, that's shoulder. That's a bad call.
Yeah.
That's a very bad call.
Remember, they can remove.
Yeah, they can reverse the targeting portion of it.
They can remove the targeting portion if they so choose.
If I were a betting man, I definitely say that.
To further review, the targeting has been removed from player number 7. He can stay in the game. However, the personal foul will be enforced. 15 yards, first down.
Well, we got it right. That's what we said. That portion of the infraction, the targeting would be removed, and so the 15 yards still is there.
If nothing else, we passed the Mike Pereira oral exam today.
Do we get a certificate or something for that?
This keeps the Kansas State drive alive, much to the chagrin of the partisans here at Jones AT&T Stadium. They spotted at the 26-yard line. Trying to get the clock, I think, worked out now.
Well, in their defense, clearly they're trying to keep the game safe with this, which is our first priority and the game's first priority. Certainly understand that.
First and 10, Jones the setback. Klein at the bottom of your screen. Jones taken out around the 20-yard line.
That was an example of that shuffle read zone. And again, what they're trying to do is allow the mesh point to move with the quarterback in the back to put stress on the defensive end. And I wish they'd run this a lot earlier than they are right now. It could have put them in a much more favorable position to dominate the game or at least be more competitive.
Second down and 4. Jones. Ready for him that time. J.J. Gaines comes up in support. Listen, we talked a lot about David Gibbs, the defensive coordinator, and how frustrated he was with his team. And he says, I just got to do a better job of coaching these guys up. We have to change the culture. They've done that against the run game today. They have.
Sometimes these young guys don't understand anything until you do it. And when he sat a couple of his key star players because they hadn't had a great week of practice, it got through. It resonated. And they showed up today big time.
3rd and 3. On the slant, that's Klein. He's got it. Pass was a little behind him, but he reeled it in front of Justice Nelson. First down goal.
Nelson defending there, but again, just a nice opportunity to take advantage of soft coverage, and Klein's eyes are zeroed in on his big target, and he completes it. Nice job.
Well, he wanted to atone for that drop he had earlier. They needed that drive to be successful. Winston Dimmel is coming to the game, the other fullback. Redshirt freshman, native of Manhattan. Leading Hubner, who burrows down to the 2.
An old Tim Tebow-esque type lead play call designed for the quarterback to run. Get behind the pads of that fullback and just straight power blocking by your offensive line.
Problem with this kind of drive, Spencer, is it eats up a lot of clock. It's what you wanted to do when the game began, but once you're down 24, that is a problem. Hubner, decked. Great penetration. penetration from Hinton, the other fantastic freshman. Well, he and Jashawn Johnson have each been exhibiting their talents in this sequence.
Well, Hinton isn't the biggest guy in the world, but you're going to see the pressure come from inside here, and it's all about getting in there and underneath the pads. Hinton does a tremendous job of just taking on a blocker, the center there, to destroy that play and play on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Loss of 3, 3rd and goal. They go for the fade pattern for Burton. You know, without Cody Cook, this still was a team that struggled on the edge to have playmakers. They really did. And without Cody Cook down here, it really hurts K-State.
They don't have a chance on that play because the ball was overthrown, not even an opportunity. You lack the touch there at the quarterback position. Again, let's, in all fairness, understand that Huebner is the 5th option here at quarterback. He's an unbelievably smart young man. He's a local kid from the Kansas area. Tremendous heart, but he just doesn't have that touch to make that pass.
4th down. And it looks like a timeout for Texas Tech. He decided to go with a fade. It didn't work. There were some options. Unfortunately, the best option for this day, Klein, left alone. It's 4th and goal for K-State. Trips formation with Klein, 81, and Burton at the bottom of your screen. Check coming from the sidelines. Huebner, again fade. He's got it. Will he be ruled in? Yes, touchdown. Boy, that determination and check to Dominic Heath, very important for Kansas State once they got a look at the Texas Tech defensive alignment.
It was a well-designed play, and this was technically a big play. It was a switch route that he came off of, and again, the man came open. It was just a great job of placing that ball there. The accuracy or lack thereof that we've not seen Huebner display, it was on target in that play.
They're going to go for 2 here. Try to cut it to 20. Huebner now 14 of 33 for 204 yards and a touchdown pass. He has 3 on the ground. They go with a power set. Dotting the I is Jones. Burton and Heath to the top of your screen. Klein to the bottom. As he was running out of time, decided to get the first of 3 timeouts they have in the half.
Well, they had the option into the short side of the field, and Coach Snyder choosing rather to go with the timeout and think about it a little bit.
Well, regardless of the circumstances, still opportunities for Kansas State. A lot of people's schedules are backloaded. Theirs is not. But they're going to have to win out if they cannot come up with something tremendous here in the closing moments of this game. All right, here comes the 2-point conversion after the timeout taken by K-State. Gronkowski and Dimmel, the 2 fullbacks, are in. Huebner reads it, fires it, incomplete. Pass was not thrown where you wanted it to Burton. It was low and behind him. It really was right there for them. Red Raiders lead it 52-34. And one would anticipate onside kicks the rest of the way. Get the good hands people up there. Jack Cantelli will do the honors. And you can see Red Raiders are certainly anticipating it. And he goes Pooch instead. which has been an effective way of getting the ball or at least pinning people back. And that's exactly what's going to happen here as Jakeem Grant takes a knee back at the 9-yard line. Let's get an update from Ames, Iowa. Jenny Taft in Los Angeles.
Well, Tim, the final update for you. Last chance for the Cyclones. Joel Lanning picked off by Jordan Stearns, who ends the threat. The Cowboys rally from a 17-point deficit, stay undefeated at 10-0, and face Baylor next. Final score 35-31.
All right, Jenny, thank you. As I mentioned, in terms of the Big 12 and where they are and how Oklahoma State goes about taking care of its business, we mentioned this when we were there, Spencer, a few weeks ago. It helps when you have all of the key games late at your house, and they do.
You make a huge impression, again, if you're able to knock teams off like Oklahoma, who have rebounded nicely from their loss to Texas. It's a big deal if you can knock off some of those front runners late.
DeAndre Washington carries it up to the 11. And you talked about those close calls. How about this mistake made by Texas, which enabled a game-winning field goal? They've had a number of them this year for the Cowboys. This game, they came back from a 15-point deficit. Hubner was injured in that game. Walsh is the answer inside the red zone. Remarkable play throughout the course of the year. Mike Gunday's had a real handle on utilizing two quarterbacks throughout the course of this season.
Timmy, much like Florida State did a couple of years ago, I'm not at all bothered by close calls. It's the character and tenor of this team. That's just who they are.
Lauderdale. Tell you, these seniors, they wanted to see, as we see a flag come down as well, they wanted to see a sense of purpose, Cliff Kingsbury and his staff, from these 23 seniors. I think he's gotten that in spades today.
I think he has on both sides of the ball. In fact, we were talking about numbers at the half. There was at one point in time when Joe Hubner had...
Run, personal foul, flipping, offense number 62. Half the distance to the goal, second down.
LaRaven Clark, one of those seniors, gets caught with a late clip of Rockdale, Texas. We'll see the result of it right here.
Yeah, kind of rolled him up from behind there.
But to your point, and I think for both of the coaches on the defensive side, David Gibbs, offensively, Cliff Kingsbury and Eric Morris, they've gotten what they wanted from the veterans. And what it does do is enable them to know that they'll have extra practices, which is huge for a young team that has outstanding skill, talent, to get those extra practices in and be a part of the bowl season. Ian Sattler gets it beyond the 10 out to the 13-yard line.
To put a postscript on that note, Timmy, what it also does from a coaching standpoint, it allows Cliff Kingsbury to come back and say, look, guys, this is how we coached you when you didn't have a particularly good week. These are the net results of it. You've kept their quarterback that rushed for over 150 yards against Baylor to essentially 20-plus yards today on the ground. I mean, that's a phenomenal job, and you can tie it into the fact that that's the way you coached it.
3rd down and 6. Grant, well, he just won't come out, will he? He's back in the game. He's had that shoulder problem at least twice here in the second half. That pass was dropped. Lauderdale had it right on the numbers. Incomplete. Donnie Starks was there with him.
That ball on that slant was laid in there, and he was pretty vulnerable on that play.
Barden will punt it away for the Red Raiders. Dominic Heath is waiting at about the 40-yard line of Kansas State. Nice return.
Very nice.
Inside the 35-yard line to the 34. Well, we talked about thoughts and prayers a little earlier today. Certainly, our neighbors, our allies in France. Tragedy striking in Paris yesterday. Our thoughts and prayers are with all of the people of France. Act of terrorism that gripped our country as an ally of France, and we're thinking about them. It's nice to at least have sports to give us an opportunity to enjoy what we have in life in our country. We fought alongside the French many, many times. There's a wide open receiver, Kyle Klein, with the touchdown. 33 yards. And just like that, K-State back in business.
You never can go to sleep. Klein pays this off. You can see it's bump coverage. He plays the catch technique. Does Bethel. He's been brilliant all day, but he turned on the outcut, and Klein just went by him. I mean, he spun him around like a top.
He dinked him.
Excellent route. Great recognition by Hubner, seeing it. That's great football there. Bethel just got burned on that one, brother.
Kentelly will try for the extra point. And get ready for another pooch kick and or an onside kick. That pooch kick, which enabled Texas Tech to start from its own inside their own 10-yard line. K-State responds. Joe Hubner with his second touchdown toss of the afternoon. (52-41) with just over 5 minutes remaining. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman. K-State needs more possessions and certainly stops. Klein is having an incredible performance in the air. 6 catches, 131 yards, now a touchdown to go with it.
He's been phenomenal on occasion, but again, we've not seen him be able to break out in the run game.
Oh, the onside is there. K-State's got it.
Hang on.
A really good job, I thought, of shielding Texas Tech from the ball. On top of it for the Wildcats, Kendall Adams.
Now watch the body language of not just Cliff, but his players as well. They look a little bit stunned right now. They've got to be really careful, and somebody on that sideline has got to get those kids jacked up and engaged back in this game.
Did you see the job there by 29? That was a marvelous job by Sean Newland, shielding Texas Tech from the ball without touching the ball, and allowing Kendall Adams, 21, to come away with a recovery.
That's what Kansas State does. There are a lot of heady, smart players that understand the game. And in most big games, Timmy, they're lost. They're not won. And that's not a cliche. It's usually mistakes.
Should be K-State football at their 48-yard line.
Yeah, I think the bigger issue.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
Is how Texas Tech responds to this. Their body language. How they respond is really critical in these situations.
A game that looked to be salted away not that long ago. 52-24 was the score. And just like that, it's an 11-point game. The missed two-point conversion looms largely now as well. Jones in the backfield with just over 5 minutes to play.
Love the play call.
And then the incompletion. Just a little accuracy would have helped there. Jones was wide open in the flat.
Well, he had an option on the play. Again, the flat or the free release was there. But again, because of off coverage, he was not going to go. Hubner wasn't deep on that pass. But I would have loved to seen them take a shot if the coverage will have allowed it.
Second and 10.
Single coverage look, playing a cover one scheme. Man on the outside for Texas Tech.
Klein is down at the bottom of your screen. He's been the go-to guy since Cody Cook was injured. Hubner, back shoulder throw caught by Heath. He's got it inside the 30 at the 28-yard line. Madison knocked it out. 24 yards, the connection.
Tavin Madison defending on that play. Plenty of protection, plenty of time. No imminent threat for Hubner, and he just completes the pass. That's pitch and catch, preserving the clock, get out of bounds. Outstanding job.
Hubner. The out pattern is complete to Stephen West. He's got it to the 19.
Well, they're working the clock excellently here on these out patterns, getting out of bounds immediately after the catch to preserve 4 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in this game.
2nd and 1 after the pickup of 9. Hubner is sacked. There's Hinton. Devontae Hinton does it again. Well, you know it's 4-down territory here, but they're losing precious time after that sack.
They joked about him not looking great in his uniform. He's a fire plug, but, man, he's the guy that's shown the kind of resolve that they want to center this defense around and call it their own. 3rd down 8.
Hudner, plenty of time. Wow. Goes again back shoulder. And a rule out of bounds, incomplete.
Jones couldn't hang on to that one.
He was there. Just those moments when the accuracy isn't there from Hudner, and it wasn't here.
Yeah, but the thing that Kansas State is doing so well is they're working the edges to preserve the clock. And again, they're doing impersonation of what Texas Tech would do were they behind. And this is not necessarily who they are, but when they have to, they can.
Gotta have this play. Cody Cook can only look on. What they would give to have him out there. And there's going to be a timeout taken by K-State. Among the many along the sideline, Colin Klein, who was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy, came up and visited us in New York that weekend. A wonderful young man. He and Joe Hudner formed quite a bond. Talk about a physical approach to playing the position. He was it. It looks as though they're going to go field goal here. Try to get it down to 8, Spencer, with the knowledge that it's going to take another possession anyway. Kentelly will attempt from the 33, so add the 10. It's a 43-yard try.
I think this is a wise call because of the body language of Texas Tech. They look a little bit drunk right now. They're just kind of staggering around and not really engaged at the level they need to be.
It's right through. So a 1-possession game with 3 and change remaining. 52-44. Spencer, I agree. The decision to go for the field goal makes a lot of sense, but it does bring into question the decision to go for 2 when they did, because had they just kicked the extra point, we'd be talking about
a 2-point game.
A 7-point game.
Yeah, a 7-point game, but if you
7
get the
versus
2.
8. Yeah. I mean, if they get a field goal, they would have been down if they had gotten just the extra point. And
it's a good point.
I mean, coaches have the card, and I'm not going to question one of the all-time greats. Bill Snyder's been at it for 24 years for a reason. One of the best in his craft. But anytime you see those decisions, it makes you wonder. Another recovery, it appears, for Kansas State. Boy, do they have the onside down.
I don't know if it traveled 10, though, Tim.
We do have a flag down, which certainly would indicate that we're going to have another review, at the very least. See who's on top of it for the Wildcats. Kansas State, I believe, is going to be awarded the ball. That'll be the call. Then we'll have to check the flag. Logan Thompson, 36, is the man responsible for the recovery. When we take a look at the replay, we'll be watching for the potential of offsides as well as whether the ball was touched prior to the ball going 10 yards. A very busy referee, Mike DeFee, the last few moments of this game.
2 fouls on the play, both on the kicking team. Offsides, defense. Low block on the kicking team. Number 57. It's a 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Colburn Couchman, 57, with the low block. Now watch just to the left of the kicker here.
We'll see
Kentelly.
if this guy right here is at the line of scrimmage before the kicker gets there. And it's close, man. He's right there. He's obviously the lead among all the others. It's the L5.
Watch the low block here. Let's see the low block. The ball.
Now, that's a waist-high block. I'm not sure if that's an infraction.
Well, they do it over, so a mulligan here for Kansas State regardless.
I pooched this one right over the top of their heads.
Well, Kansas State does have 2 timeouts remaining, but with the way Texas Tech has moved the football, especially on the ground today, you got to believe they want possession right now, don't you?
I'd put them in a dead sprint and punch it right between the 50 and the 40-yard line.
Cantelli again. Gets the high bounce. It's loose. Texas Tech appears to be on top of this one. Jadion High, one of the freshman phenoms of this offensive football team, comes away with a super recovery here.
It's rare that you execute an onside kick 3 times in a row in highly successful situations. I would have preferred to go with the pooch just above their heads because you know they're going to be hell-bent for election, driving on that onside kick to try to recover it. And you send your guys on the right side in a dead sprint past them, the ball is going to be live. You've got a much better chance of recovery.
Stanton Weber, number 12, had a really good shot at it for Kansas State. Couldn't get it. So here goes Washington. How do you do? First down to the 25-yard line, and the tote board continues for DeAndre Washington. 18 carries, 230 yards on the ground. A career day for him.
Shad Williams, the last Texas Tech Red Raider to rush for over 200 yards. An outstanding job many years ago. Ultimately transferred to Alabama, but that year he had was an outstanding one.
One more first down, and you will be able to get close to the victory formation. Washington ahead for about 4. Jordan Willis, 75. One of the leaders of this team. Junior from Kansas City made the stop. It's been an entertaining fourth quarter, hasn't it?
It really is. It has, and one defined by decisions and a few quality great plays along the way, but not enough for Kansas State.
Special teams issues and then some special teams plays for Kansas State, enabling them to have at least a chance, a fighting chance in the closing moments here. A win for Texas Tech, and they become bowl eligible. And they're going to give it to Washington. Force Kansas State to start using the timeouts. And that will leave them 1 for the game. Well, the Dr. Pepper one-of-a-kind play of the game, Spencer. DeAndre Washington, well, you've got to know he's the culprit.
Well, he's been fantastic. He's done it in open field. He made people miss. He had the heavy pads and ran in between the tackles. Washington well over 200 yards today. Added another 36 via the air for that special play. And it's our play of the game.
There are the numbers. Gave you 18 carries a moment ago. It's actually 24. Now for 234, just under 10 yards per tote. That's quite a day.
Well, to show you how much of a day it was, he came in averaging like 6.2 or so, and he's added 3 additional.
Six more yards is what they need. Here's Mahomes. He reads it. He gets it. Again, a reminder for those of you that are tuning in for the UFC 193 pre-fight show. We'll get you out to it as soon as we're done here. In the meantime, it's available streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
What a day it's been for that young man. Mahomes is, when he's been asked to, he's run the ball and gotten those tough yards and first downs to try to salt this one away. His receivers, for the most part, held the ball and caught it.
DeAndre getting close to 235 on the day.
Wow.
And if you look at the performance for Hubner in what we presume will be a losing cause, he was effective, but there were those drops that happened at key moments and opportunities missed with open receivers.
Yeah, they just couldn't get him on track doing the things that really sets him apart. And again, he's their 5th quarterback, but he has shown in recent weeks he's able to run the ball. But alternately, Mahomes, 384 yards passing, 3 TDs, 13 rushing, and a TD as well.
I tell you, with the remaining schedule for Kansas State, it's not all lost. They still have an opportunity to get to 500, which would give them an opportunity to become bowl eligible. There you see the remaining schedules. Iowa State, you'd have to say a winnable game. At Kansas, last weekend of November. Then they close with West Virginia at home. I mean, those are all 3 games that could be won. Now, granted, this is a program that has been vying for BCS National Championship and BCS Bowl opportunities in recent years. It's back to 2012. You realize what this man has accomplished.
Well, if there's ever a program that can endure a slump like this now, 6 games, and you have to go back to the non-conference tilt
right
before they register to win, it's one of those 16 principles that he underscores, and Huebner, of course, is a disciple of those, and they share those values, and that's what they're going to lean on to deal with this difficult time.
You know, he's just one of the all-time greats. No better second act in the history of college football after a sabbatical which kept him fresh. A proud tradition reborn when Bill Snyder returned for the second time to coach at Kansas State. 3rd down and 8. They're going to use as much of this play clock as they can. Washington right up the gut. Touchdown. I think we got a little extracurricular activity. Late blocks as Washington was taking it in. Officials now doing as good a job as possible to separate everyone.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but again, the passions run hot and run high in games like this. Your parents are in the stadium, and those significant others around you who allowed you to get to this point in your careers.
246 yards now for Washington. They were trying to separate Shamichael Moore, 52, as well as Marquell Bryant, 45. And they may have been a little upset that he went in and scored, but guess what? You got to tackle him.
Well, listen, I mean, what do you do?
It's a one possession game.
Play, personal foul. Kansas State, number 45 and number 52. Both 15-yard penalties will be enforced on the kickoff. Touchdowns.
Yeah, we clearly identified the 2 guilty parties here.
Well, I think the bigger issue is, look, what do you expect them to do? They're running the football. That's not their choice. In terms of their offense, their first choice, they're going to pass the ball. They're not passing on them. It's just turn around and hand the ball off. If you want to play stout defense, and that's what you do to deny them that opportunity to score again. It's tough.
Something to think about for Texas Tech. They get plenty of time off now. They get some time off, and we'll have them on Thanksgiving night against the Texas Longhorns.
There's a hint of a smile, right? Was that a sigh of relief?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun for us yesterday to meet his dad. Timothy was on hand. Yeah, he lost his mom at an early age, and his father's been with him and supported him for so long. It was great to have that chance to visit with Cliff's father yesterday at the football facilities here. Big fan of the game and of his son, and why wouldn't you be?
Had a moment with Kirby Honeycutt, the AD here, and talked about his head coach and some of the challenges that he's facing, but he's firmly in the mindset that he's got the right guy to deal with these young guys.
I think in hiring David Gibbs, it may not be showing up statistically just yet with their defense, but I think he's the guy that can change the culture.
Believe me, when you look at David Gibbs and you look at the success that's going on right now at the University of Houston, one of your flies in the ointment, probably the biggest fly.
Without a doubt.
He's a main cog and a reason why they're as successful as they are from a defensive standpoint, because he recruited those guys and trained them, and their temperament reflects him.
Trust me, he wanted this win badly. That was what mattered most. And I think the going band from Raiderland just got a souvenir on that kick. But his thoughts will shift to that Houston-Memphis game tonight, which, if Houston happens to win, will give the committee a little something to think about. Certainly when it comes to that 6th game, that bowl opportunity and a big one, Houston would take a leg up. if they got that victory.
Yeah, and it also gives for some of us out there that look at the game in an introspective kind of way, you can connect the dots and figure out who's really responsible for the success of programs, even though they no longer may be there. And he certainly does, David Gibbs, apply in Houston's case, and not unlike what's taken place at other places around the country. Tim Herman, Houston, great success at Ohio State. Tom Herman.
1st and 10 with the ball at the 25 for the Wildcats. Suddenly down by 15. Rudner's pass is caught by Dominic Heath. They're going to need to get Cody Cook healthy as fast as possible because he is the playmaker, sort of the glue of this team, the guy that Hubner is closest to.
Well, anytime you can run a quarterback, it gives you a numbers advantage. But if you have technically 2 quarterbacks on the field, it gives you a special advantage.
Dump it to Heath. And he stopped at the 43-yard line. Micah Alway with a stop. Time winding down. Well, you and I will head to the desert next week.
Dry heat.
To Tempe for Arizona and Arizona State. Look forward to that game. It could be very meaningful.
Yes,
similar to this one for bowl eligibility. Arizona State winning today. There's a sack by Gary Moore, number 5. Sophomore from Clarksville, Texas.
How appropriate for a defensive play. We've been talking about Coach Gibbs and his outstanding job as Bill Snyder looks on, and it's a tough loss. They're 6 straight.
They're going to get one more play in before we call it a night. Look forward to that game. Arizona State last year was for the Pac-12 South Championship, as it turned out. It'll be a different story, but those two teams really don't like each other. Arizona, of course, has Utah later tonight, as we mentioned, here on FS1. They're 5-5 going into that game, and Arizona State got a big win earlier today after the loss they took in Pullman that we had last week.
Well, that was an entertaining game last week.
Final play of the game coming for the Wildcats. Hubner throwing it as far as he can, and it's picked off by Jashawn Jackson. And the freshman makes a senior move.
That was a classy move, and he got a little prompting from the sideline as well.